Yeah, that'd be dope. Let's do it. I think the mic's working. All right. There you go. Okie dokes. It looks pretty good. Yeah, it looks pretty good. How's everyone doing? I see a bunch of people in right now. I've got that good soundtrack playing. The Machinui Online game. This is the Licoro stuff. I use this in my video today because it's just solid background news. What's good, Praka? Ava? You back? Hello again. Howdy, odd dude. Biotube. Yeah, this little Fiku guy. I got it a while back for my birthday, and I just thought it was really cool. Let's keep checking in. All right. Yeah, let me know if you like the music. Three years. Alien Kid 360. So I assume you must have not seen yesterday's show, which is good. I'm glad. It's slowly but surely we're building everything back, you know? Apparently sound is out of sync. I guess that's what kind of happens. So I'm basically using a Bluetooth Yeti or a Blue Yeti as the main source of audio. It's just a little bit behind. But, I mean, this is my first time doing this, so what are you going to do? Yeah, I'll do 21. Sounds like that is happening. If so, I mean, worst comes to worst, I can just do my laptop, and then, we'll see what happens after that. I can do my laptop mic. It's not going to sound as good as the mic that I'm using right now, though, for sure. Let's check this. Let's see how out of sync. It could just be a multitude of things. It could be the video card that I'm using. It could be the video capture device as well, since it's not one of the best ones. But in general, the video quality is a lot better than yesterday, that's for sure. You got that Licoro music blasting. All right, 15 people. Yeah, Fiku is an interesting set, actually, that I have. I mean, I don't know when it was released. It's kind of in a poly bag, kind of like the McDonald's Matoran, but I don't exactly know where you could have got it. If it came with Lego store purchases or it just came with your purchase from the magazine. I can only assume that. Because at this point you just find it on eBay, and that's where you get all that stuff nowadays. eBay or Amazon. I actually think this might have been on Amazon, and I have not opened it. It's one of the only things I have not opened. It's kind of crazy to think about. Let's try a couple things here. I can try the audio from my laptop. I can try my laptop mic. The thing is, it just won't sound as good. But here we go. Let's give it a try. Yeah, I miss the old Lego magazines and catalogs. That was kind of how we did it, you know? That's how I would find out about literally everything. And I would read them like multiple times a week, just even though I knew I couldn't, afford everything. All right, let's switch the mic, shall we? I might not be able to change the mic midstream. That's why I got to download like basically a program like OBS or something that is made for this stuff. Alien Kid 360. If Bionicle returns a second time, do you think they will use Toamata again or something like the Toa Metru or Inaika? I don't know. I think if they were to restart, they still start from the beginning with the main characters, as annoying as that is. I think it's the simplest story. So I think they would do it. Toamata. Stick with that. Maybe literally in the first year, it's like the first three. So like they fight Rahi and then they discover like the seventh toe, That could be like just the storyline. Plastic fatigue. So Clips Films, I saw you write in about this a little earlier. I think I know what you mean because basically Lego's been talking about the fact that they might change how they're like essentially doing the molds. Like they're going to do, instead of like plastic, some other like more in fact kind of more like economic, eco-friendly sort of kind of plastic. It won't exactly be plastic, but I figure that half the reason is because they think it might be a bit stronger. And you just mean in general, like pieces breaking. I don't know what, like Lego's always going to have similar, parts, and they're all going to make them out of generally the same thing. And if they did Bionicle again, I feel like they wouldn't want to just like start a whole new thing, I feel like at that point abandoning their kind of like if let's say their joints are made of metal or like more hard like texture, I just think people would disregard it as Lego even more so, because in that case, I mean, you're just causing more confusion for the brand, if that's what you mean. Let's see. Tahu is the Optimus Prime of Bionicle. Kind of. Maybe. If you're going as far as popular, he's definitely like visually popular, and he's the team leader, so you have that. But there's also the fact that being the most popular character, Optimus Prime is kind of more of like a Matanui in a way. And then, you have your teams under him, but I think that's interesting comparison for sure. Let's see. I thought rubber or something. That's interesting. I mean, actually, there have been like some like flimsy plastic pieces, as you guys probably recall, but I just think it still wouldn't totally work. I don't know, potentially, I think it kind of depends on the company and the way that they want their brand to be marketed and to go, because change the whole way pieces are built for like just Bionicle, it's still going to be a big undertaking for the company. BOBY asks, considering that most CCBS parts have been discontinued since like 2018, do you think Lego would base G3 on system parts, bring back CCBS, or create a whole new system? It's actually a really good topic of discussion that I wanted to bring up just in a video at some point. Actually, I do think in a way, the one way to like convince, if you really have to, like upper echelons of Lego in the company is essentially do the figures out of system, which you can do. Like if you go online, you can find all of these like Lego builders and mockists that actually have taken the totally like the design of the Tomata on all. There's a lot of them on Lego Ideas and built them out of brick and built them out of system, and it actually works surprisingly, kind of like how the giant mecha armor worked for like Exoforce, but even more detailed. And so it's just a lot harder, I think, for Lego to think about that when I'm sure they still have the molds for CCBS and all of the some of the Technic systems, because like Lego Technic does still exist. Like there are some molds out there that have probably survived. It's not like they just get rid of everything, but they have discontinued CCBS. It's actually interesting because even the Star Wars figures that they were releasing, that with like action figure qualities, basically, Toa sets, and it just really didn't sell enough because it's just Lego is such a finite brand now as far as building blocks and minifigures go. So I don't know. It's an interesting question because they really don't know what they would do for G3. I would lean towards, though, and probably be okay with them using kind of like system in a way. And I think there'd be no way you could get around having to include some technique in the builds, because there's just so many things a Lego can do before you eventually can't create that. Like if you guys have seen like Lego Masters, this great show on Fox. It's literally like a competition between teams. It's actually really fascinating to watch, even if you aren't a Lego fan. And basically, they're like, you have to at some point put Technic pieces into your creations because there's just no way around it. Lego system can go a long way, but eventually, like you don't have enough without including some Technic. All right, what's next? Bionicle forever. Hey, I don't have class right now. Awesome, dude. I'm assuming you're in college because, those classes, like, they change all the time. And you could have a class at 4 p.m. one day and have a class at 11 a.m. the next. And, schedules are definitely different. Off Dude 21. I'd want to see a combination of system and Technic for a new relaunch. Exactly. I think that'd be a great new relaunch idea. I think if you did something like that, you could please both sides. And I feel like just Lego purists would have a little less to argue about. They'd be like, okay, I see what you're doing here. And I don't know, I think he'd still capture a lot of kids' attention that way. Who knows? Obviously, I don't think you'd want to do like the Bionicle play sets that they did, because those were fine, but they just did not sell well. And I didn't even get the handful of the last like Mario ones from the movie Ignition saga, because I was just like, there wasn't a lot that pleased the eye. There was just like such a distance between Bionicle and actually like Lego minifigures. Those were interesting for a while. I had all the Metro Nui ones from 2005. I had all of the mini play sets, but they definitely want to bring it back in that way. Bionicle Forever. Do you think Mixel style system action figures is the best way to reboot Bionicle in a sustainable method? Interesting, because I think in a way they would implement that sort of build the way they do the Mixels. And if you look on Lego Ideas, you actually can find a bunch of these. There's like a Tahumata that looks kind of like they're going about like implementing Technic parts within the build, and yet it's still very much Lego. It looks like it has studs on the top of the head and on the sides. So I think that's an interesting way they could go about it for sure. Clips Films Melbourne writes, the Glatorian handpieces were cool based on the film's games, though I thought I would Lego use the classic hand arm piece. Oh, you would think Lego would use the classic hand arm piece. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I always think like Lego could make hands that actually can move. Um, I mean, there's been a couple of Titan sets in Bionicle that were released, especially during Mari Nui. I think like you had Hydraxon and Maxilos. I think it might have been Hydraxon had like just fingers that straight up moved, and you can build those hands for figures, and then you're good to go. I guess if you want to implement a way that they can hold their weapons correctly, like Lego designers can do a lot. I think there really almost is nothing they can't do from like Glatorian era and like Hero Factory used some of them as well. I think if they go the way we're talking about, which is like implementing pretty much just system with fragments of technique here and there, they would most likely do buildable hands that moved and opened and closed and all of that, because you can do that on a small scale. It's not that hard, It's like, I know you can do that, Lego. All right. Piraka Avok, Matanui and Optimus Prime would be best friends if they were ever to meet. Probably, definitely. Although, it's an interesting fact. As much as like Matanui is kind of this all-seeing god, he kind of forgot where he was often. And I think in a way you could argue Optimus Prime is more knowledgeable and doesn't get into as much trouble. I don't know. That's just kind of my opinion potentially. All right. What do we... Oh, Clips Films Melbourne. The Mari minifigure arm pieces have peg holes, which I thought would have been a better way for Star Wars battle droids because they have plastic fatigue too. Yeah. Now, actually, that's a good point. Now I kind of get a clearer idea of what you were talking about. I could see that, definitely. It's interesting. I haven't heard a lot about this plastic fatigue that you're talking about. I was assuming just the fact that like Lego uses plastic and they're trying to move to a more like eco-friendly type of liquid that they melt down and turn into these hard plastics, because they use oil. All of this, uses oil still, and they're trying to find a way around that. In a way, I heard they want some pieces to be like biodegradable, so that way they, the thing about a lot of plastic is it just never goes away. And the idea would be that Legos, maybe in 20, 30, 40, 50 years, like be biodegradable essentially, and not like stay on the planet for thousands of years. And like, that's something they've talked about. So that's kind of what I originally thought you meant by plastic fatigue. Guinness Walker, what are the odds that actual G3 happens? Very unlikely. Yeah, I mean, pretty unlikely for now. For this foreseeable future, the only time I would say it's likely is when Lego gets to a point when they're a little more desperate for a new original story. And I could really only see that if like Ninjago started not selling well. If I don't know. It's interesting. I think there's still potential for sure. They just need to have the right people. And the thing is like behind Bionicle, the original G1, there were so many passionate creators that were like had full faith in the project going forward, and they had a lot less with G2. And until they have that sort of crew, that group again within the Lego group, which I don't think exists exactly right now, maybe because they put it as one of the Lego ideas options, so they definitely still are acknowledging us, but it'll be a while until there's people within the company that want to come together and build something. So I was always saying it'd be great if like Bionicle fans and like those growing up now see it and go and decide to work for Lego one day, and then they can be part of that voice. So yeah. Thaddeus Gonzalez, the GOAT. Thank you. I don't feel like the GOAT totally, but I'm glad that you guys say that. Clips Films Melbourne writes, in the old G1 Bionicle animation promo, we see Toamata bend their arms and legs in shapes and ways fans replicate the Mata parts to articulate based on the animation. Yeah, I always thought about that. Like if you took, it's hard because, it'd be like too tiny of a piece for Lego to like go in and make bend. But I always thought it'd be interesting if these pieces actually bent. It's like, how would you do that without implementing little metal pieces in it though? And like, how can you make it so that way they're still sturdy enough that you can stand up and sit down and everything? Like you have to kind of almost imagine that these leg pieces are two pieces, and the top part of the thigh and the bottom part of like the, I guess we could call it like ankles up, were two different pieces, and somehow they just connected in and clipped in and held tight enough that they could bend still. It'd work, you know. You could definitely see that potentially working. It'd be like pieces that would snap together almost, and it would be unlikely that you could keep snapping and unsnapping them without breaking, because they'd have to be so small and intricate, unless you made the pieces like about double the size of this guy. But I don't know if you guys saw my live stream yesterday, but I basically said that I think, in my humble opinion, that it makes a sense for almost Lego to re-release in a way sets, Toa sets, if they ever do, no bigger than these guys, with kind of a low piece count, because that's a big problem I think with G2 is like first off, not all the Toa were the same price. There were like $15.99 ones and $19.99 ones. So it was like what, or like $12.99 ones and $18.99 ones, like basically from like 13 to 20 bucks. And that's already strange. And to pay 20 bucks for like a set when, you know, you could get the whole Toa team for just like 60 bucks back in the day, you know, maybe like 60 something, you know, that's something that a kid could build allowance towards. It's a lot harder to expect kids to, you know, collect all the Toa when they're like 20 bucks a pop. I don't know. I think that's a part of it. All right. Been watching this channel as a kid. Yeah, that's a lot of people, you know. I've been making this channel since I was a kid, or on this channel. I think the big issue for Bionicle G3 is toy robot or toy competition. Yeah, definitely. Travis Stevens, man, I can't believe you're back. Travis Stevens, been watching this channel since I was a kid. Yeah, man. Guinness Walker, Evanetix Art on Instagram uses custom mixel pieces to make the Toa model more flexible, at least in studios. So far, it's only digital. Not sure how they would do it or how it's viable in real life. Yeah, I think I think that's definitely a part of it. How could it be viable for the Lego long term? Like, how could they essentially put it into other sets? They need to, like, when they create pieces, they go, you know, we can use this in multiple themes instead of just one. And I think and it's not like they don't like look at these people on Instagram and on Lego Ideas that build these essentially like joint pieces with existing Lego thing to bring up. Clips Films Melbourne. Bionicle Heroes Roxy models have the Toa Metri legs on their arm, which sort of break the physics of the toy. Totally. Thankfully, Hero Factory has axle and pin connector 2x3 and 2 ball joint sockets, rounded ends. Yeah, that was one of the good things. The Man in Black. Oh man, I literally spent hours watching your Bionicle reviews when I was a kid. That's great. Guinness Walker, I've done animations with bendable Mata limbs. Bionicle forever. Do you think bringing back Bionicle as the first story-based adult theme would be good instead of marketing kids? Since it seems like it was moving to adult sets now. Maybe in a way, because I think AFOLs are growing and they exist, but it's like Star Wars. It's like anything. Like, it's still made for kids at the end of the day. Like, that's where, you know, you could argue it's like still a big portion of adult fans, 100%. But with toy brand, especially, not like just movies, a toy brand specifically, I think. And what do you mean Lego Bionicle like an adult aimed thing? Like, there's more violence, or I don't know. It's a tough question. I just don't think that'd be a viable, like, an option that they would look at. What an adult Lego set is it's like really complicated and complex and big and expensive, you know, like a $300-$500 set. And that's like, you know, kids first off aren't gonna, like, unless their parents are very nice, maybe for Christmas twice a year, buy them those sets. Otherwise, you know, that's what would make an adult set is that it's a lot more complicated and more expensive. You know, Bionicle, the best thing about it is like it had sets that ranged from super easy, the Matoran, to extremely complicated, like the big Titans, you know, the big vehicles. You know, I'm sure that must have been a thing. It's like some of those vehicles in 2008, like Exalara T9, like I can imagine that set would be difficult for anyone under the age of like 6. I mean, That's a tough build for sure for like a little young kid, but maybe not if they're geniuses, you know. Guinness Walker, if you do it in real life, you need to make pistons functional, totally possible, but totally exactly pistons functional, like within these pieces of just Tahamata over here. It'd be so just like so fragile, and I think that would be a big problem for the Lego company. They'd go, oh, I don't know. All right, what else? I saw that you came back and thought, no, that's a name I've not heard in a long time. Yeah, it's interesting. I thought should I start as LegomationStudio again? Like, should I change it back? Because I do know just the biggest thing about YouTube is the name. But I figured by changing my profile photo to the Biotalk logo and all that, you know, it would at least stand out and sort of people be like, oh, wait, who is this? Oh, okay. And it's not like it's that hard to look at previous videos and be like, oh, it's Legomation. Paraka Avok, I'm happy to see the Bionicle fan base returning. I would love to get more involved with the fan base because where I live, there's no Bionicle fans I can talk to. It would be nice to talk to. Yeah, we're far and few in between, you know. I did have a handful of friends, luckily, growing up that liked Bionicle and knew Bionicle. I don't know if you guys remember Yoni. He was part of the Brickbomb videos, still does a lot of Legos, still does a lot of Etsy. He sells instructions on Etsy for builds that he makes for a lot. It's more Lego Star Wars for sure. You know, not Bionicle at all, but he was the closest and introduced me to Bionicle growing up. But even he doesn't have, I think, the wealth of knowledge I do about Bionicle, you know, in those final years, it's just he was all Lego, very much more system oriented, but he loves Bionicle too. And he's still, you know, he's one of the AFOLs out there that appreciates both equally, you know. All right. Oh, we've got a lot. Oh my gosh. We got a bunch. Okay. Oh, that's a name I've not heard in a long time. Fellow Bionicle fan. All right. Clips Films Melbourne. Speaking of Roxy staff, it would be interesting if someone used Monkey Kid hilt piece with ninja forks for minifig scale. Yeah, interesting. I could agree with that. Bionic Geo. I think incorporating the Mixel style joints into the Bionicle part could work for building smaller and more affordable figures. Exactly. Bionic Geo, I 100% agree. Chuglet. If Bionicle wins, what would you want for a set? A buildable head mask like the Star Wars helmet line or a buildable large system Technic statue? Buildable large system Technic statue. Here's why. It's because first off, that's the only go for because they need to sell it, and Lego system is the big selling point. Guys, I do not know if Bionicle win on the next poll. We double, if not triple, the amount of votes Bionicle got last time, which was already almost everyone. So unless you want to, you know, contact your brothers and sisters and your parents and your families, your uncles, your aunts, and your grandparents to all create a Lego Ideas account, log on, it's sign up. I just don't know. And it's not like they probably have the numbers to look at it and go, okay, it seems to me like people are just creating accounts to create accounts, you know. I don't know. We'll see though, but I would like a buildable system mixed with Technic figure, in my opinion, instead of just Bionicle pieces. Instead of a Star Wars helmet, you know, I mean those are cool, but no, I think like a figure of some sorts. Bionic Geo, like the ball and sockets that are smaller, putting those elbows in these. Yeah, exactly. Pistons and bio sockets, the ball and sockets that are smaller. Yeah, they work. They're just fragile again. The Man in Black, what was your favorite Bionicle set? Again, this is a tough question because I can't say that. It's like saying what's the best movie in your opinion. It's it's hard to break it down exactly what I think is my favorite. I don't know. I think I don't know. You know, I love the Rahi actually, the original 2001 Rahi. And it's funny because it's not as nostalgic because I didn't own any when I was a kid. I just owned the Toa really. Up until 2004 or 5, I didn't have any other Rahi. But I just think they're so cool because I grew up with them in the online animations and in the comics, you know, and just even though I didn't have them, they were still somewhat my favorite sets. And then I think in 2008 with the vehicles and the ships like Exhaler T9 and Raka, I think T3 was it. jet tracks, like all of those vehicles were just super cool. They kind of like, in a way, it was nuts because they hadn't released anything like that in a while. It was in a way harkening back to like the old like Rahi sized, fully pretty much Technic build out, builds. Let's see. Odd Dude 21. I would buy a $1,000 the life-size tile sculpture they used to have at Lego stores. Dude, if they released anything Bionicle, I would buy it. $10, $1,000, $2,000. Oh, like, Coliseum or giant buildings or skyscrapers, famous monuments, or like Star Wars, huge Star Wars ships, like an $800, because it's just such a huge brand and a huge franchise that they know that they could do something like that. It's that expensive. All right. Odd Dude 21, probably pay even more. Yeah, I just said that exactly. Guinness Walker, did you follow the story every year? Did you ever fall off for periods to catch yourself back up? I followed it every year, pretty much every year. There was not one year that I wasn't reading the comic every 2 months when it came with Lego Magazine, and there wasn't a year where I didn't go a week without checking the website or BZ Power. So no, I mean, I followed it all the way through. If there was a time that I fell off with like collecting them, it was the Metro Nui saga, like 2004 through 5. I got all the Titans, but I didn't always have the entire Toa sets. In the Ordica line especially, like I got like one Viserak, and I had like 2 Toa Ordica, and then slowly I like got all of them. But it really wasn't until I'd say 2006 where it was like I had to buy every single one. And obviously years later, I have pretty much every set. I just started when I was on LegomationStudios doing Bionicle Classic reviews. I started just ordering all the sets that I didn't have. So yeah, hope that answers your question. All right, 2,000 supporters for the GSR so far, 8,000 more to go, right? I hope so. But dude, as we've seen, a handful of not just Bionicle, but Lego ideas have reached 10,000 and they don't get approved. Of the Lego ideas that get 10,000, I feel like it's like a 8%, of that end up going on, or 5%. It's very rare, even probably smaller than that. Clips Films Melbourne. Fan Bionicle film, basically true G1 fans wouldn't want Bionicle characters. They don't need a mouse like G2 Bionicle. They give them a static faceplate. Maybe. I don't know. A static faceplate is just not as, I think, interesting, and wouldn't be as attractive to people. Guinness Walker, going back to Legomation could have been a good idea. I know for sure I didn't know it was you at first, but at the same time, new era makes sense. Odd Dude 21, I always had to keep my Bionicle obsession in the closet. My friends just wouldn't understand. I mean, honestly, my closest friends all understood and knew, so it wasn't as big of a problem for me. I'd say like the last year of LegomationStudio, I was like in high school, and everyone really like close with me. I didn't have a lot of close friends at school until like maybe junior year, when I was done with Legomation for a while, and I didn't tell anyone because I just didn't need to. It's so funny now as you get into your late 20s, people just don't care. They're like, okay, whatever, that's a cool thing you do. Like, so people can become less judgmental. It's just a part of growing up. Andrew Chinisi writes, what do you think of the Coliseum set? Can't wait to cop. Yeah, man. How much fun is that? Sorry, that's my roommate, guys, if you don't know. Andrew Chinisi. Nice. Thank you for the super chat. I love the support. Huge Lego Coliseum. Hasn't been released yet, and it's basically like a gladiator sort of Coliseum. Here, I'm gonna pull it up, and it's like $550, and it was a Lego creator, Lego Ideas idea that passed. It's huge. Yeah, it looks nuts. Like that's the kind of set that I would consider an adult set, or like, because it's basically a giant model, and it's $550, and I don't think an 8 to 12-year-old kid has $550 just to throw onto this. But nutty set. Andrew Chinisi, maybe we should cop that. When's the stimulus check coming, brother? Let's talk. Maybe we'll put some more money into AMC stock. Never know. All right. Thanks for that, Andrew Chinese. Mr. Kirito says, currently at work, but I wanted to stop by and say hi. Keep up the good work. Thanks, man. Guinness Walker writes, never had Rahi either. I still have never had one. I mean, save your money and get them because I think they're maybe the coolest Bionicle sets. It's everyone's opinion, but I just think they're like awesome. Just so like classic, you know. Men in Black. The only 2001 Rahi I own is Fiku. That's the only Rahi I have right now with me in California, and I still haven't opened the bag. The pieces are still in this. I have not opened the Fiku spider yet. Fiku crab. Is it spider or crab? I just remember it was in the Game Boy Advance Matoran Adventures video game where you play as Takua, and which you can now find online, and you can like play it on your phone. Pretty crazy, pretty wild, for free. But I remember it being in that video game, and I just thought I was like, damn, this just reminds me of being really young with Bionicle, so I had to get it. And I think I've found one on Amazon again today, but it's like $30. I bought it when it was like 10. All right. Bionic Geo, since G1 was multimedia theme with the toy, comics, movies, games, do you think a G3 would follow the same path or focus on one media outside from the toys? I think one media was really expensive and unheard of, and Lego was like in desperation, and that's why I think they really spread themselves thin as far as like the multimedia. I would love to see that, you know, obviously the more Bionicle the better, but I would probably say, in my opinion, I think they should just do a really solid like animated TV series. And I don't mean like what they did on Netflix. I don't like, it doesn't need to be 3D. I think 2D in like the kind of anime style, even like even if it's a bit Americanized, I think it would just make sense and be one pathway they can focus on and make the show before the sets hit shelves. Like that was the big thing about Bionicle, at least in America, is they first released the online game, the comics, before you could even buy them. And so they garnered interest that way, and then people went for it. But that would just be a way I think they could do it. But who knows? They might want to also do video games at least. And I'd love comics. So if they can do it all, they'll do it all. But I think that's a big worry about is how much money. They don't want to spread themselves too thin, you know, with creating a new story for G3. So that would be my thing. But I'll get into that in a future video. Just Josh, guess who's back after being in bed for the past 30 hours? I feel good. Oh my god. Oh, good. I'm glad you're up. BOBY writes, Bionicle as a system theme to coexist with Ninjago, similar to Nexonites did, would be the best for an economic and logistical standpoint. Maybe a minifig series. Maybe. Yeah. Definitely a good thing to bring up, and it's actually an interesting idea. I'd be for it, you know, totally. Bionicle Forever. It's gotten much worse with Lego ideas after COVID. Now there's like 30 ideas go through each round. Should have gotten some through earlier, but oh well. Yeah, I mean, with anything now, people that are just kind of at home and bored are able to do a lot of stuff. And I remember it used to be called Lego Kuso, if I'm not mistaken. That was what it was first called. And that's definitely a part of it, is that so many ideas go through. It's really hard to, you know, keep track of them all and give all of them their due, their day in court, if you will. Guinness Walker. So best 2001 Rahi. I got the new Ijaga. That's right. I got the new Ijaga in like 2002 or 3 because it must have still been on shelves. And my aunt saw them and got it for my birthday. I was like 8. It was the year before Mask of Light came out. So, or maybe it was. No, because Mask of Light came out every year from that point on. It was Bionicle birthday, you know? So, yeah. And I was like, oh my God. So, the most nostalgic one is the new Irama for me. But, like, my favorite build of the Rahi might be the Canra builds. The, like, bowl type ones. The Tarkava are also really cool. I like that they're like boxers. And the Manos crabs are cool, but the Manos or Manus crabs, whoever I think it's Manos, but they didn't really have a lot of pieces. They were mostly that giant motor, and then you build around them. I guess they don't count as Rahi, but the Balrog queens were probably the coolest. If I can put them in with that section, I would say the Balrog were like the coolest builds of these Rahi animal-like creatures to me. But I know it was a different year. It was 2002, so I guess it might not count. Addendum, more sets with motors, right? Well, I mean, I guess answer me this question, guys. Do they still do Mindstorms, right? And I mean, that's literally motorized Lego, motorized Technic. So, I mean, yeah, that would be cool. Expensive, but could definitely be a driving point if they did like creatures. What if they did just like a 6-line Toamata fighting Rahi again? Maybe you don't spend as much money on hundreds of types of masks. Like, I get it. They could definitely be like a mask idea that they need to get their powers, but you don't need to release more than like 36 types of masks instead of like the hundreds that they did. It was all a selling point. Here's the thing. It's like, if they ever did Bionicle again, I don't think they would do it because they're in a desperate time. So they'd have to find a new way to kind of make people go out and buy them and be interested in them. But it's just collectible stuff, But motorized Rahi and then some just Toa figures, I think would be really cool. Didn't Tamaru take off his mask and he was sort of mocking at the Borax and Machinui online game? Yeah, right? There was a character that did that. I forget if his name was Tamaru. It might have been. Anyways, yeah. That's something that they did. They literally take off their masks. It's like a form of like the middle finger or sticking your tongue out at someone. Okay. Guinness Walker. Oh, right. Guinness Walker. I think a show in the style animation modeling on the game, but with voice acting would be killer. Exactly. That's one of my ideas. I guess I'll plug this now. If you guys didn't watch my video I uploaded today, I laid out kind of like my plans for the channel going forward at the end, after I do spiel. And I really do truly think maybe an anime stylized version of like the Flash Machinui online game Flash animations would make a lot of sense. I think that would be killer and that would be engrossing, and it could be something that's engaging and not extremely expensive, like 3D animation, and it could look prettier. Definitely, you could maybe incorporate it into an online game of sorts, but like the whole point and click, sort of like Telltale games, Traveler's Tales style, point and click idea isn't maybe enough anymore for kids. Is one thing you have to take into consideration. But I would like basically an anime series. That would be nuts. Oh, Clip Films Melbourne. Bionicle is always a silent short animation film clip promo. Yeah. Man in Black. In just a few days, I'll finally get the 6-tome. I'll go for Taku and Puku next. Wow. Congrats. Rob Strickland, would you recommend Lego Razor Crest set? Yes, I have it right here. And yeah, the only Lego my roommate and I, one of my roommates likes Lego kind of like I do, and the only ones we buy are like Star Wars ships because, I mean, they make the most sense. They're cool, and, who doesn't like Star Wars? But also, like, we love Mando. So I would say it's pretty great. It's got a little bit of cabin room on the inside. My friend Yoni actually said that was one of the parts that he didn't like because there wasn't as much of that. But it's good detail. You obviously can tell it's the first version, as much as we all know, like, spoiler alert, how it blew up in season 2. I think they'll make another version. They must be planning to at some point. Lego always makes 2 versions of ships that are even just in like the movies. Like, I think like they had Princess Amidala's like ship from Phantom Menace, and they did it like twice, 2 or 3 times. But it's a good set, and I really like the Razor Crest. It's a cool ship. I think it's like $120 or something, but I like it. I think it looks awesome. And yeah, could it be improved? Yeah, but out of all of the Star Wars ships they released this last year, I'd say this one was my favorite. So what are you gonna do? It's Mando, you know. All right, Clips Films, Melbourne. You're writing in a lot of stuff. Does anyone remember McDonald's Matoran? I didn't know that they did that back when I was only 1 year old. I have no idea. I had no idea what Lego Bionicle was. Yeah, they did do that, and I don't think I got any. It's interesting because I liked McDonald's as a kid, and I even remember collecting toys in like kindergarten. So I must have just missed that when they were releasing Bionicles there, because I mean they only do like toy releases for like, a month. Every month, they change whatever they have month to 2 months. It's nuts. There's people out there that legitimately collect McDonald's toys, have like every one, including the Bionicle Matoran. But I must have just missed out on the Matoran. I guess back then they were called the Tahunga sets, but they were literally Bionicle pieces. I mean, how great was that? And that's an idea for a video I want to make called like Lego and McDonald's, or Bionicle and McDonald's, because I want to talk about those Matoran sets that they released and then go into like the other Lego, because they did Lego for a while too. And then I believe what happened is Lego made a new contract where they couldn't be selling their parts anywhere outside of official Lego sets, or like privately given, comes with your purchase order at a Lego store or Lego magazine polybag set, like one of these. It's funny because this exact bag is kind of the size and shape of the Bionicle McDonald's Tahunga. So, eventually, I think Lego was like, we can't do that anymore. And then they released Bionicle at McDonald's, and I have every Bionicle McDonald's figure they released later for the like 2006 line. And I believe they had the Toa Mari as well. So they had the Toa Inaika and Toa Mari. And I think they even did the Fantaka and Mystica, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and like some of the Maku 2008. Yeah, they did all those as like little plastic mold figures, like a stereotypical action figure, no actual Bionicle pieces, because Lego did a thing where they were like, we don't want to be, associating our toy pieces with, kids' food. I guess it might have been a choking hazard issue too. Who knows exactly? Happy Meals done hooked me up, right, Guinness Walker? And I ordered all of them while I was doing the Bionicle Classic reviews, because back then you could order them and they were pretty cheap online. Now it's like they're probably like, I'm assuming like 30 a pop maybe, but I mean I still would call that a steal. They're so cute, the little Matoran. And they never really released them in sets. They did in the Boxor, Nuperu and the Boxor, right? It was Nuperu, I think, set, which was like he built a broken Borok into a machine to use against them. So that was one version. If there was another Tahunga like Matoran figure released within a set, let me know. But I'm pretty sure that was it, is the Boxer. If not, my memory is letting you down. My very first Guinness Walker, my very first set was technically Huki Matoran. Tahu was my first canister set. Yeah, and they re-released a lot of those Matoran from the McDonald's sets in 2003 as like that new Matoran build, which was really cool. It's interesting too that some of them didn't repeat. Like instead of Maku, they did Holly. They did Holly and Maku, and they did. What I meant to say is it's interesting that they did basically the Matoran from the Motunui Online game too. That would be featured in the Coley Ball scene in Mask of Light. And so that's kind of actually a really interesting fact about those Matoran. All right. Happy Meals done hooked me up. That's so funny. Chuglet. Star Wars is doing something sort of similar with the miniseries Star Wars Galaxy of Adventures. Yeah, but it's Star Wars, and they're always going to have an audience. I do know that they're actually doing, like, I know Disney Plus is doing a Star Wars series in the vein and in the style of like a Japanese anime. And I mean, that'll be interesting to watch and see transpire, because that's kind of what I think they should do for Bionicle in a way. Chuglet also says it is very reminiscent of 2002 animated Clone Wars. Yeah, because it's like Japanese animation almost. I think an animated Bionicle show using the Montanui Online game can totally work like Samurai Jack. Yeah, the creator of Clone Wars as well, and he's a really good animator, and I really enjoy his style. It's just different enough from like Japanese anime that it's kind of its own thing, but still pretty much so. Urbiel's awesome. Favorite Bionicle line other than 2001. Also, I own the Razor Crest, and it's massive. It's pretty good. It's not massive, but it's big. It's definitely big. I mean, I'd say it's actually not even that overpriced for the size. Favorite Bionicle line other than 2001. I don't know, man. 2003. I just love the early stuff. I would probably say 2001 is just amazing, and 2002. Just for me personally, because it's nostalgic, because I was like 6, 7 years old, 8 years old. And then maybe 2008. Like, I think it just, as from a story standpoint and with the vehicles and the Codrix, I thought the Codrix was such a cool idea. This giant dome, just aesthetically, that they like go into, was just a really cool idea, you know. Other than that, you know, the Paraka and the Nika. It's so interesting because like 2 of the movies, you know, Legends of Metro Nui and Web of Shadows came out during the Metro Nui saga for 2 years. And as much as I still really love that saga and really like those movies, those are probably my bottom tier as far as like my favorite years. I don't know exactly why. I just wasn't as fascinated because it's like technologically advanced society and everything, kind of cool. But it's me. Guinness Walker, there are 6 versions of the Slave One, and they will probably be releasing a new one because of the new Boba Fett series. Clips Films, Melbourne, but now McDonald's toys is getting much worse. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I have not gotten a McDonald's toy in 10 years, but there was a while where I collected like Burger King and McDonald's toys as a kid. Pretty funny. Rob Strickland, yeah, I'd be interested in hearing your thoughts on The Mandalorian as someone who went to film school and knows what they're talking about. Of course, it's excellent. But it's hard to put my finger on why. I mean, just really good storytellers like Jon Favreau has shown himself time and time again to be a good director. It's very contained, and the stakes aren't high as far as like the whole galaxy is concerned. The stakes are much higher just for this one character and his journey and like the child. They really opened the floodgates with the last couple episodes of season 2. But you know, I think another reason why is because they are using this new technology called like they call it stagecraft, which is interesting because stagecraft is like technically like Broadway plays and stuff use stagecraft, but they call it that because it's really this small little studio space that they put up projected walls of like basically giant LED screens and giant projections that computers can pull up and create the world around them without them having to go on location for a lot of time. So they'll just have this small stage. And I think in a way, and you could argue that it didn't work for the prequels, but maybe the reason why it didn't work for Star Wars prequels is because it was just green screen. But in a way, being in that close environment, that closed off stage environment, but being able to see everything around you still works enough that an actor's job is to imagine and to protect, have these visuals around them to act off of it. And I think that's why Mando is just so good in a way, is because for a lot of the shooting, they're in a very contained, tight space. Director can say what he wants, get around quickly, and then if an actor wants to know how to feel, they'll just put something up on this giant screen that they're on or they're standing next to, and boom, that's how they know. So yeah, and that's my like film school side explaining why I think it might be that good. I hope that answers your question, Robin. Bionicle Forever, how many of the sets are you missing? I nearly completed all of them, but my parents threw away like 50 of them back in the years, and I'm still upset about it. That sucks. Food a few years back. That sucks. I think if my parents threw away any of my Bionicles, they would say that they were sleepwalking or something, because they would never do that. They would feel horrible if they did that because they know how important it is. What are like 50 of them? Bionicle Forever, that's terrible. I think I don't have some of the Viserock still. I'm just trying to think. And I don't have all of like the Vaki. Again, you notice a pattern here. It's like the Metro Nui sagas. I just didn't collect all of them, but I have all the Borak, all the Rakshi, of course, because 2003 was just epic, and I was just way into it. And I had all the Titan sets from the Metro Nui saga. I think I had all of the Matoran, I had all the Borak Va, I had all the... Yeah, I'd say the most incomplete part of my Bionicle collections is number one, just Vizirok and Vaki. I just don't think I have every single one. I don't think so, but it's been a while since because they're all in storage. It's been a while since I've gone through and checked. And then the playsets. I had all but one of the 2005 Web of Shadows Metro Nui year playsets, and then I had all but one of the 2006 Voya Nui playsets, and I had, I'm pretty sure, none of the Mari Nui 2007, underwater playsets, because I just didn't think they were that attractive of sets. The cool thing about 2005's playsets is that they had these giant gates and openings of these huge Bionicle masks, basically. And in a way that kind of felt still Bionicle-y-ish, and it was just cool. And they just didn't do that for really any of the sets going forward. They were just random bridges or an outpost, or I don't know. I guess I knew playsets was the one that was like they gave you the submarine ship that they came in on. That was cool, but yeah, I'd say that's what I have that's incomplete still in my Bionicle collection. Herbiel's awesome. The McDonald's Bionicle sets are so hard to find now unless you look on Bricklane, or their stupid prices like the 2009 Matanui Titans. Yeah, you guys saw that. If again, plugging this video that I just posted, if you watched, I explained how like you can still technically buy almost all the Bionicle sets out there online. It's just they come at a pretty penny. And I would have never thought, maybe actually I would have, if you could tell me 11 years ago that the Toa Matanui Titan rare, like Toys R Us exclusive, I think it was like $50 set, would we be worth $1,000? I would think you're crazy, but it is. And if you want to buy it, it's on Amazon for $999.99. Crazy. It's got to be one of the most expensive Bionicle sets you can find, no doubt. But I didn't know that about the McDonald's Matoran. They're really that hard to find, and they're really, I don't know. Herbiel's awesome. Go ahead and let me know what you see as far as the prices for those Tahunga Matoran. I'd be just curious to see what they go for right now. I have them all, so I don't need to, but Bionicle Forever probably won't rebuy them until after I graduate and move out, though. Yeah, you also like need to pull in your own money and start and have a job and all that. And once you do, you can start going into collecting. I've thought about it. Like I spend my money on so many things, clothes and shoes. I 100% could have probably built the entire Bionicle collection all over again if I had spent my money differently, but obviously I don't need to do that. The Man in Black, Favorite Titan Wave. Kreka and Niki were cool. I think Rudaka and Sidorak were cool. Really cool characters, actually, in the Bionicle film, I think. See, all three of those films have like some pretty interesting strong points alongside with weaknesses that I want to talk about in future videos. Axon and Brutaka in 2006 were great. Vizon and Fenrak, pretty great. A lot of people tend to lean towards the Titans of 2007. I think one, because that's the general like age of biotubers that they're getting into Bionicle was like 2006, 2007. I've kind of noticed that people like me that were really getting into it in those first couple years, a lot of us actually dropped off, and like I have friends that like grew up with it around them, but they all kind of dropped off around that point. People say the 2007 Titans are the best. All the Mari Nui, like Hydraxon and Maxilos and Spinax, Nocturne, and Gadunga. I think I understand why, but again, I hate to be broken record here. My favorite Titan sets, my Titan line, is probably 2003. Just the Makuta and Takanuva, Puku, and Joller and the Gaku Bird. I just thought, I was like, fully into Bionicle, still hadn't had really any of the Rahi besides the new Ijaga that were like the Titans released before. I didn't have the Balrog Queens. And so now, and I think I was in Cub Scouts at the time, and if you sold enough nuts, like you went around and sold enough, you could get prizes. And I'd come into these Cub Scouts meetings with like prizes that were like zip tied up to a giant plaque or a board, and they would walk them all in and show you the points needed or the amount of sales needed. And they had the Bionicle Titan sets. They had the Puku Crab. They had Jawler and the Gecko Bird. They had Makuta. I think maybe they didn't, but then they had Takanuva, and I was like, I need to sell enough nuts around my neighborhood so I can buy these, And that's why, I think back mostly fondly on the Titan sets of 2003. And that's just me. Jagovic. IIRC, the only other token actual set was Hafu in the Power Pack. There you go, which I had. I even reviewed it online. Yeah, the Power Pack. I had that. And Hafu did come with it. I don't totally know the distribution, the way that set was distributed. I didn't see it on shelves that often, but maybe it was just on shelves. I feel like it was somewhat of an exclusive set to find. But yeah, the Boxor, then Hafu in the Bionicle Power Pack, and then the rest of the Matoran were all just the McDonald's sets. Bombastic Brody, I finally managed to show up to the stream. No worries, brother. You're here. Gotta head out. Guinness Walk, gotta head out. Check your emails before you do any auditions on Ignition 3. Hope we can work together. Peace. Yeah, I'm excited. I'd love to do like voices in some animations for you guys. If you guys don't know, Guinness Walker is part of a group that is basically trying to do the entire 2008 storyline with stop motion animation, and they need voices, and I can do all sorts of crazy voices. So I'd love to do like a Makuta or one of the Toa or just anyone really. I'll do a little Matoran. I don't care. That'd be just fun. Clips Films Melbourne. If there's a long silent Bionicle film, no character dialogue. Maybe. Bombastic Brody, which one do you prefer, superhero construction or Star Wars buildable figures? I don't know. Maybe superhero construction, probably. Yeah. I just think the heads for some of the headpieces for some of the Star Wars buildable figures are just weird. Dagovic, as much as I love Web of Shadows, I would have preferred a movie about the Naika or Mari. 110%, dude. Preaching to the choir. Oh, I think the most pointless Bionicle year, the most like, why did you need to do that, is unfortunately Web of Shadows, like 2005, like the Hordika and Visorak. It was just like, we already did the prequel thing. Why do we have to go back another year? And I think, and this is another topic for another video, a reason why that happened, or a reason why Bionicle became a little unsuccessful and they started to see drop-offs and they didn't make enough money on the third movie, was because fans were like that loved 2001 through 3 were like, can we get back to Tahu and like all the guys we like what are we doing here? Like, and it was just a waste of time. It was like weird. It's like there's some interesting stuff that goes in there, character development, it's all important story, but that is, I think, the whole prequel aspect, and doing another year there and like with this spiders and shadows and like they morph into Hordika. I don't know. It was a little strange. I think that was the most pointless year out of all Bionicle, to be honest. And there's some interesting stories in there for sure. Some important stuff that comes to light, no doubt. But a little weird for sure. Urbiel's awesome. For some reason, in 2008 commercial, I always loved Toa and Aika flying into the Codex. Always loved. You mean flying into the Codex? You mean the Toa Mata, right? Being that they're the Toa Mystica. Yeah, I always liked that. For some reason, I loved that in that commercial. I agree. And it was basically the closest thing we could get to the movies were those commercials. Bombastic Brody, I would also like to see a 2008 movie. Yeah, of course. I would like to see a movie of 2006, 7, 8, 100%. I think we do in a way have enough of 2001 through 3 covered in animations and comics and stuff that we can probably be okay. I personally would like to see a Mask of Light style movie with, 2001 through 3. The movie came out like 13 years ago now or whatever. No, 17 years ago. Oh, God. So I don't know if that would work, but I would like to see it. And I would like to see 2008. And God, we did not need a 2009. Let me tell you, people like Legend Reborn, whatever. I did not like. Did not like Legend Reborn. It's funny because I did at the beginning. The Man in Black. Do you collect Dark Hunters? What do you mean? Like sets? Or do you mean like, do I create the builds of the other Dark Hunters that fans have made online? I haven't, if that's what you mean. Bombastic Brody, have you seen Creative Caper's pitch test for Bionicle Mask of Light? Liwa is the only character in it. Yeah, if you haven't seen, TTV did an interview with 3 of the original people that were on the Mask of Light, Creative Capers. Really interesting interview. I'd suggest you guys go take a look at it. If anything, maybe I could get all of you guys to look at it, and then we could come back and do a live stream and just talk about it. Because, yeah, they talk about a lot of interesting stuff in there for sure. And, yeah, I've seen it. Bombastic Brody, the Power Pack CD is another crazy expensive set. Yeah, right. I'm glad I have it. A Biotube. I sold the Matanui Titan for $250. Sealed Biotube or unsealed? Like, was it in the box? If so, you probably could have sold it for $1,000. But if it was out of the box, $250 makes sense. It's nuts because it's not even that great of a set, really. I think I watched on TTV's like top worst Bionicle set. It's on there. I don't think it's that bad because it's huge, like the tallest one they ever made. But it's not an amazing set. I will say a lot of yellow, Clips Film Melbourne, The Mask of Life piece. It only took 1 year to make. When Toei Ignition was set official trailer, but in silver. Yeah, Reveal is awesome. I'm trying to complete my collection, filling in the missing gaps. Just the rest of the Mari, having no luck, but with the 2001 McDonald's sets. Yeah, really hard to find those. I had no idea. Jagovic. I had the opportunity to buy the Toamata as a kid, but I didn't get it because I wanted the standard Matanui set instead. In hindsight, I didn't know how smart I was. Yeah, I mean, it was like $12, $13 for the Toa Matanui, like Toa set, and then the giant Matanui was like 50 something. I mean, if you're like upset because, dang, I could have bought it and I could have resold it, then yeah. But if you were going to open it anyways, it's not the end of the world. Yeah. It's just funny it's interesting to see the value that certain sets are capped at. It's very interesting. Bombastic Brody. A few months ago, I found Lego Lost Media. It was a character model for Vader and a clone trooper for a canceled sponsored Lego Star Wars The Clone Wars event themed game on Roblox. Wow, that's it. Fascinating. Clips Films Melbourne. When you're a kid playing with the Mask of Life in a hot tub or pool in Barack, thought you couldn't play Bionicle parts that have electriv or spring loaded. I don't exactly, if what you're saying is when you were a kid, did you do these things? Yeah, I'd like go into a giant pool with the Baraki and pretend like they're underwater. Yeah, I did that stuff all the time. Herbie is awesome. Do you know own the Karzani set? I haven't looked for it, but I heard it can be expensive. I think I reviewed it, but also there was a weird moment where I was getting busy and losing footage for reviews, classic reviews. And so I don't think I've uploaded a review of that one, but I do have it. I do own it. Not here, obviously, like I tell you guys, I'm in California. Up in Seattle, Washington, all my Bionicles exist. But I do have it. And it's another one of the sets that's hard to find. Bombastic Brody. Oh, what's your thoughts on TTV's Canonized contest so far? I don't pay too much attention to contests. I think it's a cool idea, but it's like you can only go so far to say like you can say what's canon, what's not. I get what they mean though by like the canonized contests. It's interesting, definitely. If you're a good mockist and a creator too, it's definitely a fun thing that they're doing there. I did for a while on Legomation. I think I did like some mock contests and stuff. But yeah, I think everything that they do there over TTV is pretty cool. I've yet to really be gotten in contact with any of them. I feel like it's going to take a while because I have to build a new reputation on like BioTube here. But eventually, I'd love to join a Discord chat with them and talk with them about things. They are very much like an inclusive club with who is there, but I don't see the shame or like the hurt in, being on featuring each other on each other's channels and stuff. I don't see any reason not to do that. Bionicle Forever. Have you tried 3D printing Bionicle parts yet? Remember the Toho Hordiki animation story, Search for the Mask of Light, which was weird and made no sense, but also the first time the writers gave the Bionicles their own language sounds? It kind of was, but there was a canceled Quest for Matanui game that people are remaking now, fans are remaking, that was supposed to be released in 2001 on like CD-ROM, and it had cutscenes that were released recently, and they talked like that, the kind of like robot sounds. I don't know how to replicate it. That was weird, but yeah, they did do the Mask of Light Search series, which is so okay. So I guess the Turaga of Matanui, Toa Metru, Toa Herdika, Bakama, Nakama, all the guys, went to find the Mask of Light on Metru Nui. But the thing, like during the Hordika saga, but it's just like they didn't even touch on that. It would have been cool to bring it full circle if they touched on that in Web of Shadows, the movie. And it always makes me question, like, did the Bionicle like team and story team really let the filmmakers know everything that happened? Like, or was there a lot of kind of like last second additions as well? Because you make a movie, you have to plan it out over a year. And so they knew the basic story, but I think, they must have left out things like that because I couldn't see the creators of Mask of Light and those 3 movies not wanting to put a little Mask of Light reference in the third, and I guess they didn't know it, but the third and final film. It would have been interesting to see that. More alien robot sound effects. Yeah, that's kind of the sound. Ordinary Human. There is a short 2008 fan animation. Yeah, I've seen. And I like that there are people trying to do, stop motion now as well. But there are some fan animations that are awesome. If you watched my video from earlier today, I talked about Perry Animates Things. This is a channel that I think does incredible work as far as like replicating the Matanui online game Flash animations. Like, incredible job. It'd be nuts to like see just, an episodic series. But obviously it's still hard. Even just 2D animation like that is hard to do. Jagovic, did you read all the Bionicle books, comics, serials? I've been trying to read up on the books. I missed out on the Fan Fun Wall of History website, which is a great site. Yeah, I read all the books, all of them, all the comics, everything, all the online stuff that Greg Farsty posted, everything. I read it all. I'm a fan, and I needed to stay into the story, and I knew, I wasn't able to say it because if I say it now, I can say that Bionicle spread themselves too thin and told stories, and if you wanted to fill yourself in and fill in the gaps of the story, you had to read the books, the comics, the games, and the movies, because they didn't tell a complete story in each of the separate mediums. You had to, and like I knew as a kid to do that, but I didn't back then realize it was probably one of the faults of Bionicle and the way they told their stories and why they eventually, had to cancel. Bombastic Brody, I'm asking too many questions. This will be my last for a while. However, I'll still be tuning into the stream. Of course, no worries. Anyways, what's your thought on Journey to One? I don't know. Nothing bad. Here, 1 second. I got to respond to something. Yeah, like Bionicle. Journey to One. That's the like Netflix series, right? I don't know. I skipped through it. It was fine, but not amazing there. But the animation was weird. Again, I think they should have stuck to 2D. And there still was not enough lore. It was still too basic. It didn't go really deep into things. And also I just don't think they look that cool. It's such a controversial opinion, and I'm not trying to like say anyone's right or wrong. This is just my opinion. I just didn't think that the like I'm looking at a Journey to One poster of Tahu, and I think he looks terrible. He has like chest armor on his legs. I don't know. It's like too much armor, man. It's cheap. It just looks cheap. I don't see any gear. I don't see any like. It's not like this guy. This guy's incredible. The Tomata version. Yeah, I don't know. It's just my opinion. I think they just weren't that attractive looking. The gold, the random gold. I don't know. That's just a perception I've had over the years when I think about it. All right. Where is the live stream? Here we are. Let's go back. Have you tried 3D printing Bionicle parts? No, I haven't. I don't have a 3D printer. Urbiel is awesome. You play many video games, so what are you currently playing? You watch Bionicle Revive? Hail Denmark. It's I guess out of the conversation of Bionicle, but I probably my favorite game I played, two favorite games I played in the last couple of years were God of War, the new one for PS4. That was incredible. And then Red Dead Redemption 2. Like the open world aspect is so fun. If they had like a Bionicle game in the form of Red Dead 2, how nuts would that be? To go from island to island, or even just like have it set on Motunui and you're in Matoran and you have unlock all these things. Yeah, I love those two a lot. And I liked Cyberpunk. I didn't apart, but I thought there was a lot of potential there in Cyberpunk as a video. Obviously, we all know how that did. Chuglet, I wasn't a huge fan of Journey to One, but man, what a huge missed opportunity to make a G2 Makuta set. Yeah, I didn't like his design though, but still, missed opportunity. Why didn't they just do Motunui? What was this Akoto and what was this Ikimu? Why did just... It doesn't matter. If you're introducing it to new kids, you can still have the same names. I don't know. I have another theory, and it's like because of the whole issue with the Maori language and the Maori tribes kind of coming at them after that first couple years of G1, they might have wanted to distance themselves from the same names. I guess Makuta is one that's not referenced to anything in Maori language, but like Motunui is, I guess. I don't know. That could be a reason why they changed the names. Well, it's been going pretty good. I'm still having to work out the kinks on this live streaming stuff, but eventually we'll have it figured out. Gonna have to download like OBS, which is like a streaming. It's like a streaming software that will definitely help out. Hour 18. Dang, we went 2 hours yesterday. That was wild. 14 people. I'm still here, by the way, Bombastic Brody. Totally, man. Yeah, but like once people aren't writing in as frequently, I'll definitely tune off. If people don't jump off for a second, I could grab something to drink real quickly. Don't need to use the bathroom or anything, so I'm still gonna stick around. Just in case you thought I left. I don't know. I don't think anyone left unless I just watched the number go down, and that's kind of how I read it. Eventually, if there are not enough people talking in here, I'll just, shut down the stream for now. It's no big deal. Obviously, I could go all day and still be talking to people, but, we were consistently getting stuff to read for a while there, and now it's kind of slowed down. So if that's how things go, do you have a favorite mockist? Again, it's sadly something I can't really attest to because I don't follow the mocking community, and I'm not like scrolling through people's Bionicle creations. For me, what the biggest thing for Bionicle is just like the story element and the nostalgic and the video games and the comics and talking about that. But I appreciate mocks, and I think people have made a lot of like canon characters that never had their own sets into existence with their mocks, and it's kind of cool to see that. I definitely appreciate that a lot. All right. I almost want to do like a stream of the Motley online game, me playing it. That would be fun. Like a let's play. I've never done one of those, but it'd be fun to do. I also think it'd be fun to do a live stream of watching like the original films before I kind of break them down and review them, because I think that would just be fun to do with everyone. You schedule it. I'd schedule it probably a day out. And say, all right, 3, 2, 1, press play, and we'll all kind of watch the Mask of Light together. That would be fun. That'd be cool. But no, I don't really have a favorite mockist. I mean, I do. Here's the thing. I do in my mind, but I don't know their name. And it was someone from years ago, like 10, 12 years ago, that I would see at BritCon in Seattle. And it was she built like incredible like dragons, like giant, huge dragon creatures. I'm sure if I did my due diligence and researched, I could find who it was again. I don't know if she's active anymore. Post node message retracted. Yeah. We don't have a whole ton of people writing in anymore, so I might have to call it good. Unless anyone has anything else to say. What are we at? Hour 20. Oh, here we go. Odd Dude 21. Some Let's Builds would be cool too if you got a hold of your sets. Sadly, I don't. All my sets are up north in Seattle. These are literally the only Bionicles I have is Tahu here and the Fiku set, which I'm not going to build because it's sealed, and I think that's one of the only sealed Bionicle things I have, so I kind of want to keep it that way. Potsnod Ognem writes, I found your channel today via your post on Fbook. Yeah, nice. Always grateful for outspoken members of the community, and I hope it'll pay off in some way. Hopefully we'll get some sort of revival of some sort. Yeah, man. I think only makes sense for them to do like a 20th anniversary set or just a mention. I don't understand. It's, another topic for another day in a whole video. But man, some sort of new set, something would be great. But, what is it? Today is the 29th, February 3rd. The poll's open again. So maybe I'll make a video just saying like, everyone show up and vote for Bionicle, and we'll see what happens. But most likely it's not gonna make it through the second round. I don't think, logistically, if you think about it. Bombastic Brody. Okay, lol. Now the stream is slowly becoming more active. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Again, if we have another big lull, I'll probably call it good. If we have another big lull in the conversation, I'll probably like hour 30, probably call it good. We were at one point at like 30 views, so it's definitely about half now. Clips Films Melbourne writes, the error I found in Bionicle Heroes and Nike Heroes bottom leg was a big goof. It's upside down. It was done by a different art studio. Yeah, what are you gonna do? That makes sense. Obviously, they're not consistently in contact with Lego every day. They're a video game company. I don't think it's a big problem. You do notice those things, I'm sure, as you're like playing the games. Like, oh, that piece doesn't go there. Oh, why do they put that there? Because there isn't someone constantly over their shoulder being like, oh, that's not how it works. And, they test the game, and they're probably like, some people probably don't even notice, We would notice, because it's our lives and stuff, but awesome. Great. People love the video today. Yeah, that's the thing to talk about. It's like, I guess I've been posting kind of the past couple of days. Today was my first like big like video, and if you're gonna keep watching, it's kind of the way it's gonna look format, and it'll be a little more topic heavy, a little more editing. I'm still working on that intro. I tried to make it kind of like Marvel, where it's like all the comics, slowly pull out all the comics in the word. I feel like I could get someone to do that. Like, I know a lot of VFX people. I'd probably have to like hook them up, pay them a little bit or something. But I know a lot of people who could probably put an animation together with like the style of Marvel, where it starts in on the letters and it just goes through the comics. Because I took a bunch of screenshots of the opening panels of the comic books for Bionicle, and then sped them up for that little intro that I made. Just kind of, that was part of the idea I was going for. All right, so who's next? Postnog Ognum. I still think it's important to vote, even if we don't get the 90th anniversary set. It's good to show Lego how passionate the fan base is. True, and I also just do think they know how passionate the fan base is, That's why they tried to do G2. They thought like maybe we could pull it off, but they also knew they still had to, interact with kids and keep them interested. And I think that was just a big issue, is like as much of us as there are, it's not enough to be like a financially viable option for the company at the moment still. But you never know. Like they test toys on kids all the time. Unreleased Lego stuff. They could have tried Bionicle a handful of times before GT. They could have tried it again in the last year or two, and it just didn't work. They make these Lego sets and ideas that they don't even release to the public. I'm not even talking like beta stuff. I'm not even talking about like prototypes. I mean, they are essentially prototypes, but they'll, open up a room of kids between ages 6 and 12, and they put a bunch of Bionicle maybe or Lego sets out, night sets, whatever, and they say, what do you like more? Which do you want to play with more? And that's kind of how they do it. Do you think you'll do any future stop motion shorts in the future? I don't know. Again, I would need all of my Bionicles. I do have some Lego. But to make good stop motion, you also need to spend a lot of time on just art design. You have to like find a good background, and you have to create a cool set piece and like all of that. It's a lot of work. And I definitely know I could do it, but you have to have the patience. And it's a slow process. It takes a lot of talent, but it also just takes a keen amount of patience. And I have good patience, but it only goes so far. If you guys don't know, like Forest Fire 101 was like one of the biggest Lego animators on YouTube, and he started doing it again, but he'll live stream for like 3 hours, just every little thing he's doing. It's like, ooh, it's hard. It's tough. If anything, I'd love to be a part of just the directing or the writing or the voice acting, which I'm in contact with some people about. So we'll see if I can become a part of that. Bombastic Brody. I found out a few years ago that before TT Games only did Lego games, they also made Toy Story, Sonic, Crash Bandicoot games. Man, they were a lot more unique. Yeah, totally. I don't know if like it was in contract with Lego that they could only do Lego games or something, but Lego games are massive, and they probably took a lot of work, and they were like, as a company, we should just stick with Lego for now. And so Telltale pretty much stuck with it. Basically it was like, yeah, we have to stick with what we know, and this is a big company, Lego, obviously. They did Toy Story and Sonic and Crash Bandicoot, but those are like different, people to work with. And I think they wanted to just stick with Lego because that's what they knew. Odd Dude 21. Comics explain style video for the Bionicle comics would be awesome. Potentially. Obviously, I think that's a great topic. It's just like Bionicle comics. Getting into the artwork and when artists switched over and kind of how they designed it and how they went about doing it. How like technically at least the first like couple series of comic books were like almost 50% just ads. It's really funny actually. Like if you go through them page by page, you can go to the Biomedia Project, and you can go ahead and find copies of the comic books that people have scanned in onto the website, and you'll find that like at least a third, if not more, of the pages are dedicated to advertising and stuff. Some of it's just like telling you about the story, but they feature sets on them. Sometimes they literally have price tags next to the sets. So that's an interesting thing about the comics. The other problem with the comics is that they didn't tell the full story. The comics would often skip over crucial key plot points. Like they never showed the Toa fighting Makuta in 2001. They never have, the Mask of Light Takanuva Makuta fight, because they expect you to go get the movie. And that's what people did. And I mean, it's a selling point. It makes sense when you think about it. But that's one of the problems with that I think is with the comics is they leave out a lot of information. And if you were to only read the comics, you'd definitely be confused. I own all the hardcover versions, so I wonder where the heck those are. I'm sure they're at home, boxed away up north in Seattle. Yeah. Okay. Off Dudes 21. It's a good question though. I do think the comics are like pretty nostalgic for me. I loved those, man. I was a big fan. Let's see, 14 people. We're from 12 to 14, so we got some more people. Feel free to write in, get the conversation going. We're at an hour and a half. I've decided I'll go 2 hours, but only if I get some more people writing in. Obviously, would be great. I did find out that the super chat works now, so I'll implement that further. I'm still trying to really just build my audience back, like spread the good word, let people know. Bombastic Brody. A funny thing I found out was that The Good Guy in Sweden was released by Disney in a Donald Duck magazine, but in some countries the set was released through kind of obscure fast food chains. About Good Guy, the like really memeable Bionicle set that was just like basically made of just like extra pieces that probably the Lego company had lying around. It's so weird. What a weird form of marketing. I feel like I could make a whole video about Good Guy. Let me write that down. A Good Guy video. Oh my god. Actually, that's a great idea. I should do one about Good Guy. It is a meme. I mean, it's a Bionicle meme. The way I would explain it in the video is that Bionicle had extra pieces around and they wanted to send out a form of marketing that was cheap, and they just did this little Good Guy set. I mean, I don't even think he's canon. Can you guys let me know? Is that guy canon? So what Bombastic Brody is saying is basically they released the set in Sweden in a Donald Duck magazine with Disney in other countries too, through obscure fast food chain. That is just the weirdest thing I've ever heard. He didn't even have a mask. Oh God, it's a weird little set for sure. It's a weird set, man. So strange. Oh, we're coming to the end. People are dropping. It's 5:30. People have dinner. I have dinner in a bit. Bombastic Brody. He's not canon, although Good Guy is. He's actually canonized by Taragali Khan. Nice. What's your thoughts on the Ignition comic series? So you mean like basically 2006 through 2008? They were good. Here's an interesting point to bring up, and it's something I noticed growing up. The original artist who did, I'm pretty sure 2001 through 2005. If not, it was like 2001 to 2003, and then there was a 2004 and 5 guy. And I'm pretty sure it was the same guy from 2001 to 2005. And they were really detailed. Like, those comics are so cool. Not only are they distributed by DC, which is nuts, they actually had really just nutty detail on the figures. Now, when you got to Bionicle Ignition, which is 2006 onwards, starting with the Voyanui Saga, Paraka, Toei Maika, you could tell that the artist wasn't going in as detailed on the like pieces of the figures. However, there was a new style to the way characters moved, and they were kind of stretched out, and it had this more Dawn-y sort of creepy like look to them. I don't even know how to explain it. Like a dark, like it in the lighting in the comics, I guess it was aesthetic for Voyanui, but it always looked like it was the same time of day, like kind of like dawn, you know, twilight kind of time of day with like, you know, because the whole like basically the whole island is covered in ash and smoke and dark clouds. And the artist represented that in a lot of his comics, and even the Mari Nui. It was a totally new type of style to the comic books, the Ignition comic books. But you definitely could tell that as much as the artist was definitely adapting the sets, he was being a little more exaggerated with the way he drew them than the original comic book artist from 2001 2005. They kind of kept the designs very set accurate in a way. Clips Films Melbourne. Colgate toothbrush. They used to have the Nuva mask and Metro mask. Yeah, I had one or two of them. I think, if I'm not mistaken, my sister had Golly and I had Tahu. And I think I got an Onua, which is like, why do you need two toothbrushes? Yeah, I had them. I didn't have any of the Toa Metro ones. I only had the Toa Nuva toothbrushes, but I thought great. It was cool that you could put the mask on it. And it came with the mask, so they sold a set piece with like a toothbrush. I'm pretty sure about this. Don't know 100%. But when they did the Bionicle shoes for the Toa Metro, they had masks on the like masks, like Lego set pieces masks on the end of the foot that you could like put all the masks on. It was a weird. I didn't buy those because I thought those were just weird. The coolest Bionicle shoes were the Rockshi and like the Takanuva. I had Tahu Nuva and Takanuva. And those were just so cool. Like they didn't have any Bionicle set pieces with them, but you could essentially take the mask at the toe of the shoe and take them off and put another mask on if you like collected them. So that's interesting. I'm gonna write that down. Talk about Bionicle shoes. Bionicle shoes, maybe toothbrushes as well. I wish I had a Bionicle toothbrush. Maybe I could look them up. I'm sure you could find that stuff. You know what I mean? All right, some more people are writing in. Let's see. I have Nuva Golly mask, like from the Colgate toothbrush. That's great. I think I do too. It's funny because the mask would get covered in like toothpaste and it'd get all crusty. Odd Dude 21, the Ignica comic line. The Ignica comic line. Yeah, Ignition. Well, Ignition was still like, yeah, it was 2006 through 2008, right? Like, yeah. It's kind of what I said. Yeah, the semi-messy look to it all. Yeah, darker art style, semi-messy look. I agree, Odd Dude 21. That's exactly. Bombastic Brody. I was browsing through Bricklink and possibly found the most obscure Bionicle product, Bionicle pennies, exclusive to Legoland. Yo, where is this? Oh, what? Whoa, hold up. You're saying I go to bricklink.com right now. Let me see. Bricklink. Bionicle pennies? Can I just search it? Bombastic Brody. Do I just search Bionicle pennies? Legoland pennies? Oh god, they're probably gonna be a pretty penny. Bionicle penny. That is absolutely obscure, but also awesome. See, that's the kind of stuff that I get excited about now because I pretty much have all the sets. And like 100%, if there was a way, and I don't live at home, but if there was a way I could check which ones I still don't have, like just a handful of the Visceract or the Vaki, which I've explained to you guys are probably the sets I have the least amount of, like incomplete. I would 100% put some money in to just buy them to know that I still full had the function. You know what I mean? Pressed penny pattern Bionicle logo how Nuva mask. Huh. Wow, I found it. Bombastic Brody, I found it. And it's being sold for. It's not being sold. Weird. It just says it's on here. 2.5 grams. It's a pressed penny, which is awesome. That means that I went to Legoland like 2 or 3 times. At some point, they had a penny pressing machine. I guess I just never did it. It's funny because as a kid, I went to Legoland and I still loved Bionicle, but I wasn't as crazy massive. It's like I'm more of a fan now than ever. If I was at Legoland and I saw anything Bionicle, I'd buy it. Anything, I would buy it. That's so funny. Dang. Well, I don't think I can buy the Bionicle penny right now. It does not look like I can buy the Bionicle penny. At least. Yeah. Why would they have it listed if you can't buy it? Weird. All right. Dr. Beck. Hey, Dr. Beck. Bombastic Brody. Yeah, I think there's some Tahu, Makuta, and Takanuva. What, there's more? I just looked it up. I can't buy them, though. Is there like a price? Bombastic Brody, can you find a price on them? Clips Films Melbourne. Bionicle watches. They also have 2 Rockchi masks. Yeah, there were Bionicle watches, and they did have the Rockchi faces on them. For sure. Yeah, that was a thing. Definitely remember those. I didn't get the watches because I didn't wear watches. I wasn't a big watch kid, So I don't think I ever had a Bionicle watch. I had a Bionicle pen. I didn't have a Bionicle bed sheet, which is nuts. It's a thing. It's like until I became more financial, I got an allowance or got a little job on the side. That made me. I was in middle school making good money for like a 14-year-old. Then I could start collecting everything that was Bionicle. But before that, it's not like I came from like the wealthiest family ever. And even then, my parents were not about like spoiling their kid with everything. Because, if like, say my dad was as into Bionicle as I know I still will be when I'm like a dad one day, I will buy everything in that Lego magazine right now and then probably hide some of it and slowly give it to my kid. But I'd buy everything, I don't care. It's so funny. Dr. Beck, what age did you start Bionicle reviewing? It was 2008, summer 2008, 12 years ago. Nuts. Over 12 years ago, 12 and a half. Summer 2008, I was reviewing the Bionicle Mystica, and then I also felt like I just might as well review the Fantaka, like the entire 2008 line. And it's funny, you'd think back then I would just be like, dude, let's also just go back and do all the other Bionicle sets. But at the time, I was focused on what was new and what was coming out. And the more views you got were on the newer released sets. So it made sense. But I was in 2008, summer 2008, I was 13. Yeah, 13 years old. So I was 13 when I started doing like Bionicle reviewing. And I copied, and I'm open about it, so that way I didn't get in trouble for like plagiarizing. I quite literally copied the format of Knickknack 118, which I don't know. I've been checking. I don't think he uploads anymore. But he had this style of review, but he would only do one a year, and he would do it of like the black colored Toa. And I was like, dude, you got to do the whole set. You got to do the whole collection. So I was like, I messaged him, and I like in my first handful of reviews said I was like basically doing his style of review. He was chill with it. He was fine with it. But I was 13 years old, and that was 13 years ago. So as old as I am right now, halfway through my life, I was reviewing Bionicle. So you could say, in a sense, I have been reviewing Bionicle for 13 years. Not really, because I've had 5-6 years since I've ever reviewed a Bionicle set as of now. But yeah, 13 years. So I'm exactly halfway of my life ago was when I started doing Bionicle reviews. That's so crazy to think about. Thanks for that, Dr. Beck. Post not Ognum, I might have had a watch. I'm not sure. Yeah, I might have too. I'm not exactly sure. Bombastic Brody. Oh, speaking of obscure Bionicle media, I found that Mask of Light has a Disney DVD branded special edition release in Russia. Yeah, I looked. I couldn't find it anywhere. Also, last time I checked, unfortunately, nobody is selling Bionicle pennies. I mean, it's on Bricklink. So does that mean that someone was at some point and they just keep the listing? I am assuming. Yeah, it's just a listing on Bricklink. They don't like actually sell it anymore, which is too bad, but What are you gonna do? You know, I don't know. What are you gonna do? It's just a Bionicle penny. It's not. I feel like a Bionicle pressed penny from Legoland would mean a lot more if you'd gotten it when you were at Legoland. You know what I mean? Another interesting thing I found out is I guess the Bionicle ride, Bionicle Blaster. I don't know if that's still there, but the Bionicle Toa are still there. This is something I heard online, is that they were rebranding the ride at Legoland, the Bionicle Blaster, which is just like a spinny, like kind of the teacups at Disneyland sort of style ride. But they were going to keep the Toa there, which is good to know because the pretty cool statues of like Gali and Lewa and Tahu. I think it's just those three. But then, and I remember I heard about this like 6 years ago, 5 years ago. Then I just watched a YouTube video of someone's trip to Legoland in like 2018, and it was still called Bionicle Blaster, and the Toa were still there. So I just don't know. And if you look up an updated like Legoland map, you'll find Bionicle Blaster is still on there. So I think they ended up keeping it. But I just don't know for sure. Master Brody, yeah, I heard that one of the Bionicle statues at Legoland is slowly sinking into like sand, I think. Whoa, what? Like it's sinking into the ground? Wow, where do you hear these things? You know what I mean? That's so funny. I'm trying to look it up right now. Yeah, I have no idea. I live so close. When COVID's over, I think my roommate and I are going to go to Legoland. I'm sure it's not like going to Disneyland where it's like, $800, $500. I'm sure it's like maybe $80 or $70 to go into Legoland, which I would potentially do because it's very nostalgic for me. Yeah, I'll go and I'll do a video for you guys. Biotalk live from Legoland. How about that? Good idea, right? Biotalk live from Legoland. Your host. Yeah, that'd be pretty good. Dr. Beck, do you know a website that sells cheap Bionicles on Amazon? It costs for $2,000, $80, $90. eBay, 100% eBay, and then Bricklink. Now, bricklink.com is more of a piece selling site, not as much full sets, but they have full sets. If they're sealed, they're going to cost you, like regardless. Anything Bionicle that is still sealed in the box or in the canister or in whatever container is going to be expensive. I'm talking twice, thrice, 4 times the price of the original or of it outside of the box. But like, for example, I was on eBay today. I found that they had Kreka, the Dark Hunter Titan set from 2004. Kreka and Nadiki. But they had just Kreka, no box, and the bags were sealed, and it's right now going for $15. So I know there's like a bunch of people on a wait list, like bidding on it, but see where that bid goes, because I don't think it's going to go over like $50 or something. It might. But if it doesn't go over 50 and you can get a Kreka set that was still sealed in the bag, meaning the pieces are fresh, of course, open the bags and build it. But for like $50, not bad, actually. So that's where I would say to go is eBay and then Bricklink. Bricklink, you might get lucky. Sometimes shipping is a little more expensive there. I remember when I was doing the BrickCon convention, like Lego Idea with my friends Leo, or my friends Yoni and Connor, and Jack, which I made like a vlog series about like 9 years ago. You went through Bricklink, but it becomes expensive because if you're buying separate pieces, you have to buy them from individual sellers, and each individual seller has their own shipping cost. So it becomes really hard to like at first you go, oh, this is cheap, a couple cents a piece, I can build this so-and-so figure for this cheap. But then you have to realize you have to go through each individual person's shipping, and shipping alone is already still $1, and then it's like $1 per piece, and then it doesn't make as much sense. But Bricklink and eBay, I would say for sure the way to go. And if you're just worried about like creating a collection to like put on display, don't worry about them being sealed. It doesn't matter. Or missing a couple pieces, it doesn't matter. In my opinion. Wow, we got a bunch of stuff. Here we go. Audio 21. Bricklink is probably your best bet. Yeah, Dr. I'll check it out. Thank you. Good. Just said the same thing I just did. Yeah, Bricklink or eBay is probably your best options. Post Nod Ogna. I hope I'm saying that right. Does anyone remember a skit on YouTube from 2006 about two teenagers fighting to buying the last Piraka in their local Walmart? Yes! The search for the Toa Inika. Dude, it's Anika, but they would say Inika. And it's amazing. It's been re-uploaded by a different user. And the different user that re-uploaded it, the original guy from that series commented on it saying, oh, wow, this is so interesting. I'm glad you guys still appreciate it. But he's deleted them since. It's really fascinating because I think those were maybe the coolest, funniest little Bionicle skits ever. Like, I don't want to be a Matanui, an idiot. They did like American Idiot, but for Matanui. It's so funny. Like, they were probably like 16 at the time, 15. Probably like weren't into Bionicle, but grew up with it and just thought it was a funny idea for a sketch. 110% Postnog Ognum. I remember that a lot. Or Potsnod Ognum. You can't find it anymore? Oh, look it up. Do a search for the Toa Nika or whatever. If it's like been deleted, I watched it probably 4 or 5 months ago. So that's the soonest I remember seeing it online. If you can't find it, that is just sad. That's too bad because I was able to find it not too long ago, uploaded by someone else. Part 1 and part 2. Dude, these are part 1 and part 2. They like open up their fridge and they find the Tarakava and they take the Tarakava to Walmart or whatever. Yeah, dude, amaze. Oh, those are so funny. I wonder if anyone else remember watching those. Yeah, Dr. Beck remembers watching those. Yeah, funny stuff. In fact, I think like the lead actor, the main guy in that, not the guy with the long hair, came out as transgender recently or something. So she commented on the video being like, it's great that people enjoy watching these still. You know, I just made them for fun with my friend back in the day. Apparently they aren't even in contact with each other, which is that's class. That's always, that's not uncommon. The videos are like 13 years old or 12 years old or whatever. But keep looking. Let me know if you can find them. Oh, you found it. On you found the videos. That's great. Yeah, the search or quest or search for the Toa Inika. They called them Inika, and then at the end of the first episode, they realized that they bought the Piraka. They're like, dude, you bought the Piraka, man? Oh no! And they feel terrible. That's great videos, dude. I love those videos so much. Oh my god. Should do a live stream of just watching those together. Crexa Productions, dude, welcome back. Started watching your reviews when I was 9 and you helped me get into Bionicles. Still a Bionicle fan 12 years later. I got back to watching reviews every now and then. And dude, the reason why my YouTube channel is still able to stay somewhat afloat is because you guys have been watching those videos over the years and years. And that's kind of the reason why I've been able to immediately go into live streaming. The super chats are enabled. Like, I get everything, and I'm still a YouTube partner. A lot of people I know that had YouTube accounts that did the same thing I did and dropped off for 3 or 4 years at a time. Their content that they had on there wasn't as rewatchable, whereas my videos still have a watchable value just because they're topics on something that people are still interested in and get nostalgic about. So good to hear from you, Crexa. Post note on them. Yes, I found it. That's great. Yes, here's like success. Odd 21. Does it begin with a guy messing with banana? Yeah, he sticks a pencil through a banana. So stupid, dude. But it's humor when you're like 15, 16, and it's still funny. I feel like that would be on like Adult Swim or something nowadays. They wouldn't mind. Like, that shit's so funny. But it's like, obviously the production value is really low and all that. You guys are just talking about Dr. Beck. Yeah, what's the link? Here, send the link. What's the link? I mean, just YouTube search it. Search for the Inika. Search for the Anika. Bionicle. I remember it too. Good times. Good. Bionicle forever. Yeah. Dr. Beck, true. Bombastic Bodie. Can you post the link? Now everyone just wants to watch these little stupid videos. Dude, they're ridiculous, but they're a lot of fun. Guys, I was looking on eBay for this. I had this, but I don't have it anymore. Like a Tahu flame sword from Legoland. I couldn't find it, but I found a Lego Bionicle flame sword from Vakama Hordika, and I might just have to buy. We'll see. I'm gonna favorite them and keep an eye on them because it's gonna come to about $20 or $30. But I want one of these foam swords that you could get at Legoland, and I can't find Tahoe's because it's gonna be impossible. There's gonna be no way. Maybe Bricklink. Hey, let's check out Bricklink. All right. Can you post the link? Can you post the link? Can you see the link I posted? It's called More Childhood Memories, Bionicle 2, search for the Toei Nika. Just search that. I'm sure you'll find it. No, okay, thanks. The video's a lot longer than I remember. Yeah, they're pretty epic. There's 2 episodes. There's like a pre and post search for the Toei Nika. And it's because they're like reading the comics. And then they're like, oh shit, we should go to Walmart and find them. The Toei Nika. The Toei Nika. My dad, like, even my dad thought that was funny. My dad's like was like in his 50s when those videos came out, and he's watching his son watch these, and he thought they were hilarious. It's so funny. Bombastic Buddy, nope. Okay, thanks. Post some Ognum. Video's a bit longer than I. Herbiel's awesome. Did you ever see the Bionicle stop motion with the symbiote? Yes. It was created by like Spidey 909 or Spidey something. Really cool animator. I watched this before I even started YouTube in like 2006 because YouTube became a thing when the Nika was going on, the Paraka and Nika. So the earliest YouTube videos about Bionicle are all the Paraka and Nika. Even Edit Arts, if you guys remember Edit Arts, he was his first videos were Paraka and Nika. So it makes sense that the search for the Toei Nika videos were done by those guys, because that was when YouTube started, was we were in the Voyanui era, you know, the Ignition line. So I did watch Spidey like 406, 906. I forget. It's Spidey like, and then it's 3 numbers. But he had amazing animations and like put like Requiem for a Dream soundtrack with it, and like in basically Nuperu versus Matoro with like a symbiote aspect. And then he also did Spider-Man animations too. Really good stop motion animator as far as when it came to action. You watch them now, they're a little cheesy and like slow moving, you know, but he was doing great work, you know, and he would even like black out the backgrounds to make it seem very realistic and like, you know, good production value. Bombastic Brody, yep, I found it. Thanks, man. Strangely, I don't remember the beginning with the banana, but them going into Walmart and opening up the canisters. Yeah. Yeah, you know, they're funny. They're really funny, those guys. I loved those videos. Yeah, he's got over 100K. Yeah, he's a really good animator. Like, I understand why. And, you know, he's still been frequently, at least every year, posting videos. It's great seeing the old sets in the Walmart stores whenever I rewatch them. Yeah, I mean, if you watch the search for the Toei and Nika videos that you guys are talking about now that I loved growing up with, if you look at the shelves that they're going to, it's like that's the Bionicle dream that people have. In the middle of the night, I'll wake up in a cold sweat, you know, because I just was down an aisle in Walmart or Lego store and I saw Bionicle. Bombastic Brody, one time I got a sealed Exoforce set for just $1. Goes to tell you, like, the IP for Exoforce was just not as popular, and yet Bionicle is, so you could find those. What else we got here? Urbiel's awesome. Yeah, he's got over 100K subs. Dr. Beck, the sad thing is that I knew Bionicle when it almost ended in 2010. I bought some sets, but they were lame. Yeah, that's a thing, dude. That was like so weird. There must be people like you who, like, 2010, you know, they're maybe 10 or 12 years old or even younger, and now you're like almost 20, or maybe you're 20, maybe you're 17, and you were freaking 7 years old at the time. You were my age when like the Borak series was happening in 2001, 2002, and all you had were the Bionicle stars. It's like, what do you do? You know, I guess you got Hero Factory after that, you got G2, but it still was not the same. You had to be there. So that's so interesting. Postnod Ognum. I just have I'll just call you Ognum. How about that? Ognum. Thanks for helping us find the video, Zach. I thought it was gone forever. And I did too for a while. I just randomly was thinking about it one day. YouTube did. I was like, wait, why can't I find it? And then eventually I did. You know, it might be because if you guys aren't on the Bionicle community group on Facebook, that's where I found out about it. I think someone posted it there, and I was like, dang, all right, here we go. And such funny videos, dude. It's like insanely nostalgic for like the old YouTube too, not just like old Bionicle, like the old YouTube as well. Like the, Nigahiga and Smosh and all of these original creators, their videos were just like that. YouTube is so different now. Bombastic Brody, although Star Wars was kind of disappointing, although the Stars wave was kind of disappointing, I appreciate the fact that we got some great characters again. That was the idea. They were like, what's the least we can do? Which is not really how you should think about it. But they thought the least we can do is still do a line of Matoran-sized, terrible sets, but in a way, kind of paying homage to some of the most popular Bionicle sets pre-release. My problem was they did like Scrawl and Gresh, and it's like we just had Glatorian. I feel like we didn't really need that. Maybe Gresh, we could have done something other than a Scrawl, but it's like, how do you do a Borak? How do you do a Vaki? How do you do a Vizorok? They did Paraka, which is great. They did Rakshi, which is actually interesting that for Paraka and Rakshi Bionicle Stars, they created a whole new mold for their spine pieces, which is kind of interesting because that's a lot expensive to have to do, but they did it. So they tried. At least they tried, right? Dr. Beck, and after 2010, I almost bought Hero Factory. I mostly bought Hero Factory. I mean, it makes sense. If you were just introduced to Bionicle with Bionicle Stars, the next thing after that was Hero Factory. And I'm not going to lie, there is some cool looking sets, no doubt. I think actually there's some sets in Hero Factory that were better than Bionicle G2. I can't believe I'm saying that. That sounds insane, Oh my God, I'm committing treason. But like Von Nebula, that Hero Factory set was great. It was cool. They didn't release one set in Bionicle G2 that was that set by like design purposes, of course. Herbie was awesome. Did your parents ever find out that you secretly filmed the sets that were hidden by your? I remember waiting for so long for Rocket T3. Let's just say they weren't secretly hidden. Like my dad had this thing, and my mom to some extent, where it's like, fine, we can buy all of these, but I can't just have you have them and open them up all at once, because that's how you raise a kid. It's like, you don't want to spoil a kid. Everyone's told that, you don't just give them everything all at once. So my dad was like, okay, you worked hard for these, but I'm still going to hold on to them for a while. Do your homework, read this book, and then you can get on to the next one. But it was somewhat true and somewhat not true when I would say, like, I think the one you're talking about was Tuma and Rocket T3, but like Tuma specifically, I was like, I found this hiding, blah, 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 or whatever, upstairs. I was like so excited when I found Bionicles, like new Bionicles on store shelves before anyone had reviewed them online. That's how you would get views back then. And still today, if it comes to like collectibles, is if you're the first to post like anything, any sort of like news or proof that they're available, you'd get the most views. It's kind of like with movie reviewers on YouTube and TV reviewers. The first people with videos up get the most views. It's true. It's a trend. And even for Bionicle back then. Bionicle Forever. Lego just wanted to end the line in 2009, so it's nice that Bionicle teams pushed to have a final wave. For sure. No, exactly. Magic Brody. I wish we could have gotten a set of the original Karzani set as well as Batera. I don't even know what you're saying here. But I do agree. Karzani set. You mean like a set of the original Karzani? Because the Karzani set they released during the Marnui saga did not look like the Karzani we had in the books. Like, but they did it, Yeah, I would have liked to see a legit Garzani, but people have 3D printed that mask. You can probably find that mask. I'll do 21. I never did buy any Hero Factory, but I always so tempted for the crazy color customability of them. Yeah. Bombastic. I love the Furno bike. Yeah, it's a cool bike. Like, that's a cool vehicle, for the fact that it had orange Borak head and eyes mounted on the top front of it. Nice reference to Bionicle. Maybe not a reference, more like they were just using old molds, but yeah, and you have to think they still have those molds. Again, I know Star Wars is a lot bigger than Bionicle, but they re-release Star Wars ships every 3-4 years. Why couldn't they just re-release Bionicle sets pretty much? Like, do they realize that not only would it save them money for making new molds, but that us Bionicle fans would still buy them, even if it was literally, if they released the Borak, just the Borok, but like it's the same Borok. Maybe the canister design is a little different, but it's the same pieces. Generally speaking, we buy them because it's new Bionicle, you know? I don't know if they know that. This is the Tahu Mata Hao ring, by the way. I don't know if you guys can tell. Obviously, this is different than the live stream yesterday because I'm using my expensive-ass camera over here. But it's a really cool ring that I was able to find. It's called the Order of Matanui ring, and it was on this website that just makes rings and stuff. Pretty cool. Odd Dude 21. I've never did buy. Oh, wait. I read you. Sorry. Bombastic. I like the Fear of Factory. Yeah, okay. I read those two. Here we go. Herbiel is awesome. Can we not forget the Hero Factory packaging in 2012? Lol. Yeah, right. But also, can we not forget the Toamari packaging? Right after one of the coolest canister packagings ever, probably in the Baraki. These like cool underwater rock formations, and the canister was translucent blue with bubbles around it. Holy crap, that's awesome, right? And the Toamari, what do they give us? They aren't even canisters. It's a plastic shell, thin plastic shell with cardboard box backing and plastic trap. That was weird, man. Like, I've saved the like hard plastic part of those, I hope. But it was also, what a waste. Oh, that was so weird that they did that. And they didn't do that with the Mystica or the Fantalka next year. It was so... The Toamari canisters, man, were the weirdest canisters. I'm going to write that down as a topic. Top canisters. Top canisters. And you know it's going to be at the bottom, the worst canister. The freaking Toamari canisters were so bad. All right. Bombastic Brody. Yeah, not the mutated Karzani, the one from 2006, although Combat Wombat Productions made a fantastic mock. He did. And it was a mutated version of Karzani. You're right, because he was in the pit. So that's why he didn't have the same mask. Odd Dude 21. Bionicle could probably do really well a yearly limited series, right? Whatever. You know, we aren't Lego. Postnug Ongnum. I'm sure you're just laughing at how I'm saying your name. Like, what is this guy doing? Yeah, the Mari box was so bad. Yeah, man. Dr. Beck, does anyone remember that video that has the small Bionicle who fought the big white and then getting killed? They both fought in the desert. Was it like stop motion that someone made? Postum Ongnam. I remember being disappointed all the time. Yeah. Dr. Beck, white Bionicle. Okay, correction. Bombastic Brody. My biggest regret for G2 are not picking up the original Umarok Hunter. Seriously, though, he was awesome. Yeah, they were cool sets. Clip Films Melbourne. I always thought Bionicle Technic Brick 2x2 with the wide receptacle and axle hole was the perfect handpiece to make. Yeah, I agree. I agree, man. Post Nod Ognum. Honestly, the Paraka canister was dull. The Paraka canister. I mean, Bionicle was doing a thing with the Paraka and the Nika where they had the light up functions. And so the function of the canister is that you would press the top. You don't even have to buy. Press the top and you see the light that the eyes have. And if people like blue, they press it. Oh, blue light. Got to get that. Red. Oh, cool. I got to get that. I liked those. And then I really liked the Nika canisters were cool. They started to do that, the wide canisters for the Toei and Nika. And like at the top, you could see all the Zammer spheres, you know, right in the opening. That was a great, cool way of selling it. And then on the front, you could press the button to turn on the light up weapon. Unfortunately, very easy to steal the pieces, which, you know, little stupid kids did. You know, I remember finding Nika canisters where like the Zammer spheres or most likely the like light up weapon was missing. Isn't that insane? And like, where are those people now? You know, not on here, I don't think. Unless one of you admits to it. But yeah, the function of being able to press the light up weapon or whatever was pretty cool. No 3D in the beginning. He was found dead Bionicle. No, I don't remember the video. Odd Dude 21. I thought it was cool incorporating the Paraka heads in them. Yeah, it was. Urbiel's awesome. You think Love shouldn't have been canon and Bionicle? Should have been. It is. I'd say it is. Love is canon and Bionicle. Jollar has a crush on Holly. Kuki and Maku have a thing. What are people? Come on. I even think Matao and Nokama is kind of a thing. But, you know, let's say what we want to say. I 100% think it's in there. It's subtle because it's not really like Lego, and I think they wanted to stay away from potential PG-13 or whatever. I don't know. There's some more. I mean, Rudaka and Sidorak. like as much as Rudaka did not give a crap about Sidorak, he was kind of in love, I admit. So love was there, dude. 100% is canon. That's another topic. See, I'm getting all these cool topic ideas from you guys. Is love canon in Bionicle? Yes, in my opinion, wholeheartedly, yes. There's even a deleted scene of Jollar like twirling his fingers because he doesn't know what to say to Holly. It's 100% there. Bombastic Brody, I kind of actually liked the Paraka canister lids for having the prop masks that actually fit on Metro heads. I didn't know that. The prop heads without the spine and the ones shown were part of the canister. I didn't know you could take them out. I thought you could take them off. I didn't know you could put them on to a Metro. That's interesting. I didn't know that. Interesting. Bionicle Forever. I liked the Paraka canister, but the Paraka spines made it a pain to put in back into the canister. Yes, I remember the rubber spines getting stuck. Odd Dude 21. Irby, I don't think love in a romantic sense would be necessary to make much sense for Bionicle. Romantic relationships have been introduced in various Transformers media as well, and it's always a little weird, IMO. Maybe, but I didn't find it weird. I found Bionicle characters to be quite human and like takes away from the story, I guess, in like the selling point of the sets, but I 100% saw it there. And, you know, I think it was pretty obvious, mostly with Maku and Huki in the Motunui Online game, and then the Flash animations of 2002 with the Barok. It was there, 100%. I think it's almost inarguable because doesn't she blush straight up, like her cheeks? She blushes. Yeah, I know. That's literally the number one way of storytelling of people having a crush on someone. Urbio's awesome. When I bought the black and blue Paraka at the store back in the day, I remember seeing the canisters already open with pieces missing. Dude, I saw it all the time. 2001, 2002, I remember finding like, there's just small little thin cardboard boxes of like Kanohi and Chrono. People would open those up and I would see just an empty box. Someone stole the masks. And it's like, where are these kids now? I bet you they like aren't really Bionicle fans anymore. They were just kids who were young, who were maybe into Bionicle for the very short time that they were. And the idea of just having a bunch of masks and going to at recess, comparing and showing each other masks was just a thing. People did that all the time. Kids did that all the time. Kids, not adults. Okay. Bombastic Brody. I like this scene that is kind of a meme in the community where one of the Visrocks just cleaning the floor in the background. It was in Web of Shadows, right? He's like using a little mop, like he's just in the background, like cleaning. Yeah, that is so weird, but that's funny. Then she says, throw yourself off the edge to all these guys. Poor guys. The Paraka prop heads from the canister don't normally fit in Metro heads. However, the way how I got it to work was by getting the little circles on the Metro heads side of it to fit. I mean, there you go. That's thinking outside the box, That's for sure a way to do it. I haven't seen that in a mock, but I believe it. I believe it. All right. I'm still searching for this Bionicle sword. Tahu's sword. Foam sword. Legoland exclusive. I cannot find this anywhere. It's funny because, in that case, that's, 12, 13, not even. What am I saying? It's like 16, 17 years old. But you can find Vakama Hordika's foam sword that was a Legoland exclusive. Interesting. It shows you how many years go by where you can't buy things. Auto 21. Adults in some collecting communities still do package swaps and returns for various lines, Transformers and Marvel Legends. If we get a Bionicle continuation, I would like the Shadowed One to become a villain after Makuta dying. Shadowed One was interesting. They didn't really make a like legit canon set about him. They technically kind of did, but not really. It was like a combiner. Yeah, really interesting villain. He was in a way not the antithesis, but like he's crazier than Makuta in a way, and was like Makuta did not want that guy around because he was in a way more Shadow than he was. So I remember that being a really cool book with the comma and shadowed one and all of that. Really cool. Urbiel is awesome. I saw a listing on eBay of the Paraka combo with the gold spine, but his spine was cut. R.I.P. Yeah, Earnock or whatever. I have it. I have Earnock or Ernock. Oh, you know what I just realized though? Ernock was a combiner of Vizok, Thok, and Zocton, I think, right? And I didn't have those guys in canisters, but when I bought Earnock, I was like, I basically have them. And so I actually don't think I have Zacton. Maybe I do Zacton, Thok or Vizok, the blue and white and green guys in canister. So I don't have their. There you go. See, I think I have a pretty like finished collection, but to actually have the set and the matching canister, I have probably 6 or 7 that I don't have. Some of the Vaki, some of the Vizorak, and I guess some of the Paraka now I've realized. And then potentially some Matoran here and there of the later years. Not 2008 and on, but maybe 2006. No, I had all the 2006. Now that I'm thinking about it, like, damn, I wish I had them all here so I could line them up and figure out which ones I still needed to buy before this stuff goes off the roofs. Because 100%, once G2 is canceled, G1 went up in price even more and is even more collectible. And just every year that goes by, these sets are going to become more and more expensive. Bombastic Brody, I forgot about Creo for a while, but I still only going on in China. It's still only going in China, apparently. Odd 21, Vizon, I thought. Oh, Vizon, I thought? Huh. Don't exactly know what we're talking about. Dr. Beck, any thoughts about Transformers 2 sets? Transformers 2 sets? Like Transformers Revenge of the Fallen? What do you... I don't know exactly what you're saying there, but you mean Transformers sets? Like a Lego Transformer? Yeah, it'd be pretty cool. I've seen some mocks of Lego Transformers, but that's Paramount, which is a movie company, like they own that, and it's Hasbro is the toy company. I don't see Hasbro really working with Lego, anytime soon. Bombastic Brody, isn't the exclusive mask for the 2004 Makuta Combiner that's an alternate between Turaga Duma and Nivok now kind of expensive? Yes, and that's actually one of the most expensive Combiner released sets that they made. I think if you guys want to know, go to Bricklink and find Bionicle Universe. There's a user called Bionicle Universe, and he also has an Instagram, bionicle.universe is his handle on Instagram. And if you go ahead and check that out, you'll find that he has all of these sets. I think someone wrote in the chat yesterday that they had Takuta Nuva combiner set, which is Takanuva and Makuta. And you can combine them, but it also comes with each individual. He has that in the box for like $250, $300. You can find the Turagaduma giant Giant Makuta combiner that Bombastic Brody is talking about with the like Makuta mask on Bionicle Universe's Bricklink account as well. But I think it was like $200-$300 still, but sealed, so pretty nuts. Yeah, Revenge of the Fallen. Yeah, I don't know. I liked when these were coming out, I did buy a handful of Transformers toys just because I thought they were really cool figures. Urbiel's awesome. Did you ever get the original 6 gold masks of the mask packets? I'm currently missing Leo and Pato. No, I think I have Tahu and that's it. I have Tahu and Golly. But at this point, like, as much as collecting masks would also be awesome, it just drives up the price even more. And like, I don't know. You could say, "Oh, you're not a real Bionicle collector," but I don't really care as much about collecting individual masks. There were literally hundreds of masks. It's a cool thing to display. I've seen the displays of people's collections of just masks, but personally, it's like collecting the sets is really the important thing to me. But if you're a mask collector, I mean, by all means, go for it. Odd Dude 21. Isn't there a solid gold how Lego released at some point? Yeah, there were a couple of solid gold masks here and there that Lego did, and someone luckily found it. I have a friend, Connor, his younger brother, growing up, found a real silver Borak Krana, which they were giving out, made of silver, in a like Borak canister that he bought at like a local like pharmacy, like a Rite Aid or a CVS or a Walgreens. They always have a Lego aisle still, even though it's very minimal. And I guess he bought a canister, a Borak, and it came with a silver plated Krana, like hard silver. And he even showed it to me. I have no idea where that is now. Most likely, probably gone, which is unfortunate, but I'm sure it's worth a lot of money. But it was solid silver, Krana. Bionicle Forever, what do you plan on doing with the canisters and boxes of Bionicle? I was collecting them with the boxes, but at this point I don't see much point as they take up so much space. That is the thing, they take up so much space. Canisters for sure keep them, and because you can probably put, like what I did, I put a lot of the figures into their canisters and combined that as a part of storage. But I will say, it's definitely a thing with the boxes. I've kept a lot of boxes. I think 2004 or 5 and up, I have boxes, but I flatten them, I try not to crease them. Try to open them up nice and carefully so nothing rips, and then I flatten them because you can do that. You can collapse them. I guess collapse is a better word. And then I collapse them and then kind of stack them all together. So there's probably a spot in my garage in Seattle that has all of the boxes, and it's probably about this thick, but they're this thin, so they all line up, and it takes up a lot of room. But that's what I've done. But if you live in an apartment or a small townhouse or anywhere, it starts to take up a lot of room. But I personally am keeping them because who knows, man? I think it would be cool to rebag them and put them in the boxes and then give them to another kid someday, or I don't know. It's just a thought of mine. In no way maybe I am keeping them. It's just if I ever gave the entire collection to a museum or something, I'd have the boxes. I don't know. It's weird. It's like, why do you keep the boxes? I don't know. Because a handful, I'd say at least half the collection I don't have boxes for. But canisters, I do. Because it's hard plastic and everything. We got a bunch more people writing in. Bombastic Brody. In 2017 or 2016, I found the Constructo Zerg in 2010 Walmart. Also, Luke's Landspader 2010 is the one in 2015. I ended up picking the latter of the two. I had both. Both were really cool. Yeah, I had both. I loved Toy Story growing up, and Zerg was one of my favorite characters because I was all about Buzz Lightyear. So I had that set. I had 2 Zergs actually. Do you remember the 2010 Bionicle website? Yeah, I remember every year Bionicle website, man. They were all great. I think it was 2008 or 9 or 10, maybe 9 and 10. They got rid of the Flash games on the online game, and I was like, that's sad, I want people to experience that same game. But I remember all the websites. In fact, if you watch my video I uploaded today, in the very kind of beginning segment, the first music after the intro, the first music I use is the background website music for BionicleStory.com, which was starting in 2007 with the Mari Nui saga, was playing on the website whenever you were reading all the online stories. Old dude 21, just gathering dust lost to time, right? The solid gold how out there somewhere. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but it could be thrown away and trashed. Who knows? It's out there though. It's very possible that it went under our radar, but was on eBay, and now a collector has it. Bombastic Brody. Yeah, honestly, Glatorian Arena was better than the 4th movie. Yeah, the Glatorian Arena game was alone a really cool game. Urban was awesome. The biggest mistake of mine is seeing the Lego Star Wars Ghost ship on sale for $30, and it's not worth. And it's now worth 400 seals. 400 sealed. Oh yeah, so you saw it in a Lego store on set, Ghost from Star Wars Rebels. You saw it on sale, and it was $30, and now you found it for $400 sealed. Ooh, it's I wouldn't even care to open that and build it, and I would have sold it. You would have made a profit. Oh my god, that's crazy. Bombastic Brody. So apparently Lego is going to be releasing another Friends set, of the live action series, and I hope it's Joey's apartment so we can get some printed tiles. You are pretty funny. Yeah, like the Toamata. Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe. I don't know. Why would they do that? I don't know. Best Bionicle set. That is insanely difficult. It's gonna take a lot to think about, and I'll make a video. But earlier in the stream, I answered that I really liked the 2001 Rahi. I just think they're super cool, and the Balrog Queens. They're like the Balrog Queens. I thought those were pretty cool. So that's really what I would say for now. I think that Usanui, Takanuva's speeder, and then Makuta himself, the 2003, because we'd heard about Makuta for 3 years. Then they finally made a Makuta set. And it's not like the coolest set by any means. In fact, it's about as tall as like the Inaika Toa eventually were. But it was like $20. I think I got it out of Fry's Electronics once. I saw it and my parents were like, okay, we'll get it for you. It was the one that I needed to complete the collection of like the Titans of that year. And I remember like sleeping it like on my bedside, having it like right on my bedside and sleeping with it because I loved it so much. Like I just loved that Makuta set a lot. I don't know what it was about it. I just loved it. Bombastic Brody, because a few of the Toamata sets, even one of the Kaida appeared in the background of the series. I did not exactly know that. I knew they were potentially in there, but why do you like a grown man and is the like Lego want to get like, you know, did Lego want to get promotion? Did Lego sponsor the show for a bit? That is so. It made sense in Malcolm in the Middle because Dewey, the youngest kid in Malcolm in the Middle, the sitcom show, really good show. I love that show. But he's like a young kid, and he's like 6, 7, 8 years old, and he's getting Bionicles for Christmas. It made sense in that case. All right. Make a top tier list video. I will. That's the plan. Urbiel's awesome. There's a Bionicle Easter egg in one of the Ninjago city sets, I think. There's a Bionicle Easter egg in a couple things. There's like a spaceship that has like a map of Voya Nui. I remember I heard about that. Post Magnum, I think the Borak aged really well. Yeah, I agree. So Bombastic Brody, yup. Also the Hidden Side bus references the Quest of Montanui canceled game. Wow, I didn't know that. Odd Dude 21, for how large of a reach Bionicle had, it's strange how forgotten it seems to be. Well, if you ask anyone, like guys especially, since 85% of boys at one point had Bionicle, they'll know it. They'll know about it. People just don't talk about it anymore because it's not as popular as anything like a Marvel or a Star Wars or, you know, anything. Odd Dude 21, are you implying Joey and Chandler are too old for Lego? No, I'm not. It's just, it's so out of that realm of that show. It's so interesting that they would have. No, they're not at all. Not at all, man. No. It's just funny. Like from a market perspective, like why is it in an adult show? You know what I mean? Bombastic Brody and the fire truck in the Hidden Side references to Top and even Rocket Racer. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, we're almost at 2.5 hours. I've been doing this for a long time. So when the clock hits 2:30, I'm gonna call it good. It's been great talking to y'all though. I don't know if I'm gonna do one of these tomorrow. I'm glad I got a couple super chats in. I'll ask the last couple questions and then sign off. But yeah, I enjoyed talking to you guys. I'm probably gonna take a little break. I might do one like Monday, but tomorrow's Saturday, Sunday. I want to shoot 1 or 2 just topic videos to get that ball rolling and have them backed up and edited so that way throughout the week I can release. But yeah, this was great. Let's see. Any other things to finish this up? What is your favorite Titan of all time? I think I said in the chat, probably the Makuta Titan of 2003. Axon in 2006 was great. I liked Maxilos and Spinax in 2007, but the Balrog Queens, which they didn't even call them Titans. So I don't think I'm allowed to like call the Rahi Titans of 2001 or the Balrog Queens of 2002 Titans, or even Makuta from 2003 a Titan, because they didn't call them Titans yet. But if we do go by that, then probably the Makuta Titan of 2003. And if not, if Titans are just starting in the Metro Nui saga and onwards, then I would say Axon is pretty cool. And then Maxilos and Spinax were just epic because it was technically Makuta again, you know? All right. Epic Proportions just got here. Yeah, I'll be on for another minute or two. I know it's like people go in and out. With 2.5 hours, we've been going a long time. Do you ever think Bionicle will ever make a Toy Series close to 2001 series? Right? I think so. I would love to. I mean, controversial opinion of mine, and I've told people this, is that I think they could just re-release the Toamata and it'd be decently successful. It'd be cheaper too than like what they did with G2. All right, I think I've talked too much. See you, man. Good luck on reviving the channel. See you, Bombastic Brody. Dr. Beck, the crazy thing is that you are doing this live video when I finish all the assignments I've been doing for 2 months. Well, congrats. It's good to get work done, you know what I mean? Epic Proportions, Barto Club. I know you guys just hopped in, so I'm sorry that we're 2.5 hours in. I've got to call it good at some point. But if you go ahead and take your cursor and go to the beginning of the video, this is live, but I'm uploading it as a separate video on its own. You can rewatch everything or just have it on the background to listen to everything that we talked about today. Yeah, like my breath is going away. My voice is dying. So it was good talking to you all again today. Let's keep this going. Let's build up views. And yeah, I see Barto Club, you just joined in Epic Proportions. Guys, feel free to just take your cursor, go ahead and scroll to the beginning of this video so you can watch the stream again from the beginning. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys had a good time here. We got to talk about a lot of really cool things. I'm still trying to work out the tech of the show and exactly how to do live streaming, but this was a start to something really cool. And hopefully we keep doing these at least weekly, if not once or twice a week. So yeah, you guys are awesome. I love having these chats with y'all. We got really nostalgic today. And yeah, we're rebuilding a community, that's for sure, 100%. Dr. Beck, for sure. So thanks for everyone for being here. 2.5 hours. This is crazy. I won't be doing one of these for a little while, but until next time, spread the good word of Bionicle, and until I see you next time, this is LegomationStudio signing out. No, no, I'm gonna say until what should I say? What should be my new outro? I'll see you next time on BioTube. Yeah, that's good. I'll see you next time on BioTube. BioTube. Lol. Or I guess BioTalk makes more sense. All right. Until next time, I'll see you next time on BioTube. BioTalk. Actually, I have one more question for you guys. If you think it's a good idea, eventually I would love for this to be a podcast where we could have a handful of you guys on here, to talk with me, maybe some of the other YouTube channels, to just keep the conversation going between more people, so that way I don't have to be out of breath by the end. But all right, until next time, I'll see you guys later. Yeah, I do 21. Until next time, I'll see you next time. Until next time, I'll see you next time. Yeah, it would be cool, BioTube. All right, I'll see you guys next time on BioTalk. Let's do it. Bye-bye.